this movie is about obviously a journal of someone who's writing all of her and her life and everything that's going on at school, but making it make believe. Sure, fine, normal plot. Everybody we get told is a character in this story. Everyone except the main love interest of the film.
That's so true. Who is he?
Jason Dolly is not mentioned once. There's no reference to him at all.
He never asks.
He never asks. He never cares, and it doesn't seem like he exists at all. Which I don't know if that's like a meta commentary point or it's just completely missing. I feel like they're missing a scene where he goes, "Why am I not in the book?"
That would be in any other DCOM. Why is it not in this DCOM?
I don't know. This movie is kind of wild in a way that I appreciate and Kelsey does not.
Hey, no, that's not true. Also, why are we talking about this in the cold open?
Oh, and cold open.
Welcome, everybody, to the DCOM Duo podcast.
I'm Benji.
I'm Kelsey.
We're the DCOM duo.
New and improved podcast.
Yeah, hopefully we sound a little bit better. We fell to cyberbullying.
We got better microphones, so hopefully we sound better.
Yeah. Realistically, I think the big reason was our software just wasn't liking our old microphones.
Yeah.
For silly reasons, and we tried some other stuff and just went, getting new, better microphones is just going to make our life easier.
Yes, I really think it will. So, for our benefit and yours, hopefully this sounds nice.
Yeah, there could be a hiccup or two because this is our first time using this and this software, so
yeah. Hopefully it goes smoothly and we stop getting cyberbullied.
Yeah, we only got cyberbullied once. It's really fine.
Yeah. This week we're talking about Read It and Weep.
Read It and Weep is a DCOM, and that's what we cover on this show.
Whoa.
I think it's pretty fun in a way that I don't know. I think I just had the right mood towards it because I don't think it's objectively anything special or crazy, but I appreciate the fact that it doesn't feel. It runs through a lot of the motions that another DCOM does, the whole DCOM formula and everything, but at the same time, it's willing to let itself not make sense at points.
This movie is wild.
It's wild in a way that isn't like crazy. I don't know. It's wild, not necessarily for the things that happen, because it's a pretty standard plot.
Yeah.
And the editing, directing choices are distinct for the DCOM formula.
Yeah. They really throw you immediately into the world, into the plot, and shake you up until you somehow stumble to the end. And that's how I feel about this movie.
Mm-hmm.
And really, this time, it's because I was taking notes.
Mm-hmm.
Taking notes on this movie and trying to write down everything that's happening as it's happening is kind of a nightmare.
Yeah. It's kind of one of those movies where there's just like a film technique of controlled chaos where just a bunch of things are happening at once, and it's kind of you find the narrative through the chaos. And I think that's what they're going for here. I don't know how successful it is, but I had a fun time on it because I think I was just ready for something stupid, and this kind of satisfies that.
This one, if you're looking for a little silly, kind of stupid one, this one fits the bill for sure. Anyway, before we really get into it, do we have fan mail?
Yes. First off, if you would like to send us fan mail, you can email us at thedcomduo@gmail.com. That'll make sure we'll read it. But also, we check YouTube comments. We check elsewhere. I don't really check elsewhere, but I'm sure it's possible. And on our full court miracle from Micah McBurney, we got, I like this. With a smiley face.
Full court miracle episode. Thanks.
Yeah. I like that one too. So thank you for that. And thank you anyone for listening in.
Yeah. Right. Is it facto time?
I think it probably is facto time.
DCOM Duo Factos.
So this film is Read It and Weep. It was released July 21st, 2006 as the 64th DCOM.
Wow. That was the same year as High School Musical, wasn't it?
Oh, no, yeah. High School Musical was just before this, more or less. It
Well,
was
this was
it was
the
January
follow-up?
2006. It
Mm.
was not the follow-up. The follow-up to High School Musical was Cowbells,
Oh, okay. That that makes enough sense.
and then Wendy Wu, and then this.
Oh, so there's just a lot in 2006.
Exclusively bangers. Uh, the director of this is the director of every DCOM.
Oh my gosh. The isn't it the last one that we watched? What did we watch last week?
We
Last
watched True
Wednesday?
Confessions last, I believe.
Yep. So same guy.
Same guy, Paul Hone. So I'm just going to read off the list. We're not going to talk about it too much. Luck of the Irish, Let It Shine, You Wish, Eddie's Million Dollar Cook-Off, True Confessions, Jump In, Cheetah Girls One World, Dad Napped, Camp Rock 2, Cloud 9, How to Build a Better Boy, Invisible Sister, and all four Zombies films. Fourth
Zo-
one in production.
yeah, Zombies for to be determined. Well, I guess to be released later this year. It's gotta be soon, right?
It's got to be this year. I don't know the time.
We are going to the concert in August. They gotta release
Are
it
we going to have
before
to
the
do a show
concert.
about the concert?
It's gonna be amazing, guys. If you didn't know, Zombies and Descendants are going on tour and concert, but it's only like the new cast of Descendants Rise of Red and Zombies 4. It's not like the big stars, like Dove Cameron's not gonna be there, but it's still gonna be a good time. We got some nosebleed tickets and it's gonna be full of kids and it's gonna be great.
I'm looking up. There's no release date for Zombies 4 other than 2025, and for Descendants 5, 2026.
Well, yeah, I wasn't expecting the next Descendants to come out before this concert because they can just use the Rise of Red music.
Yeah.
But yeah, they gotta release Zombies 4, I think before the summer. I don't remember when the concert tour starts, but like, how do you go on tour with the songs without releasing the movie?
I don't know.
Not to get too sidetracked from Read and Weep.
Well, it is on the concept of the director who did basically everything we just talked about except Descendants.
Yeah.
Uh, he's done some other like small stuff as well. I'm not going to talk about. We've talked about him enough times.
Yeah, Paul.
Paul, come on the podcast. We'd love to have you.
Oh my gosh,
I
that
would
would be incredible.
genuinely like if we're talking desired podcast guests, I might be near the top.
Because he's directed so many of
He's
them.
directed so many. It's something where like we've always said Ryan Merriman would be an
Oh my god, I
iconic
love
guest,
that.
but like
Or,
Paul Hone, I feel like would have so much to say that I would love to pick his brain.
Andrew Lawrence. I would love Andrew
But
Lawrence.
some of those are like people we would have to ask other Andrew Lawrence questions. With Paul Hohen, we could only ask DCOM questions, you know?
Do we have to ask other Andrew Lawrence questions?
He's done other stuff. It would feel like weird. I don't know.
This is a DCOM
This is a DCOM
podcast.
podcast. All right, moving on to the cast. So the main two people in this movie are the Panabaker sisters. Wow.
Whoa, there's real life sisters.
They're real life sisters. They look it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Kay Panabaker plays Jamie Bartlett. She's our main character. She was in Life is Rough, so we've
Yeah.
talked about it from there. She also had sizable roles on Phil of the Future, Summerland, No Ordinary Family, the 2009 remake of Fame, and the 2007 Emma Roberts version of Nancy Drew. Those are the stuff. She was nominated for a Young Artist Award for this performance. I thought she did pretty well in this one.
Yeah, I think the chaos is in the writing and the directing and less the acting. I think she
honestly,
did
I think
fine.
this is a pretty well acted DCOM for DCOM standards.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Like, I feel like a lot of the kids are doing good stuff. I also think Kay Panabaker is pretty good as a child actress.
I like her. Yeah, I liked her in Life is Rough as well.
Yeah, I feel like I enjoy her performances. Her first ever role was Monsters Inc. I mainly mention that so when we play Cinetune Nerdle Battle, I'll remember. We can go from Monsters Inc. to Read It and Weep.
That's hilarious. Who is she in Monsters Inc?
She's like
Is she
the
Boo?
garbage monster. No, it's
The
like just a
garbage monster?
background voice, basically.
The one that's like running the garbage machine or something?
It just said garbage monster.
Garbage monster. Okay.
And then after her role in Beverly Hills Chihuahua 3, she retired from acting. She got a degree in zoology and now is working in Animal Kingdom in Disney World, as far as I can tell.
Shut the hell up.
Yeah, that was its truest of 2016, so it's been 9 years, so maybe stuff has changed. But like at some point, you could go to Disney World, meet a zoologist who's just casually been the star of a DCOM.
too, really. I mean, I know she's
Yeah.
not the star of Life is Rough, but she's the female lead of Life is Rough.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I would love to go to Disney World and meet Kate Panabaker. Also, another child actor who's like, actually, I'm gonna stop acting and just get a normal job.
Yeah.
I always love that. So many of these DCOM
Well, some of them
kids
I'm
did
sure
that.
are starting to find work, but I mean, she was still doing. I feel like she could have squeezed the juice longer if she
Yeah.
wanted to.
Especially like, is her sister still doing
Her
stuff?
sister is still doing stuff.
Yeah.
We'll talk about her now. So Danielle Panabaker plays Iz, a
Hmm.
fictional character. This is Dad Napped and Read and Weep are directed by the same guy, and I feel like this does the fictional character you talk to way
Yeah.
better.
They're both weird. They
Yeah.
both do it weirdly in different ways, and we can talk about it when we start talking about the movie. Is it weird that it's like it kind of feels like to me that Danielle Panabaker isn't in this movie, and maybe it's because she plays a fictional character?
It does feel like a cameo appearance, but she's in so much of the
She
film.
is.
She is like probably the second actress.
I think her role in this movie, though, like her character's role and how Jamie is seeing her as a ghost, isn't really necessary.
Yeah. It's something that's interesting, but I think it ends at just being interesting. I feel like that was a conceit, like a concept for the film, but it would have worked without it.
Narratively wise, I think it worked better in Dadnapped. I'll say it. I'm not afraid.
I'm not going to defend Dan Napton in this situation. Danielle
That's fair.
Panabaker was the star of Stuck in the Suburbs, along with Brenna Song. We already talked about her there, so
Uh-huh.
I'll speed through again. We already talked about both Panabakers previously, so you
Yeah.
don't need to spend too much time, but this is their movie, the one they combined for. She was also in Sky High. She was a main role on the Flash TV show. That's like what occupied most of her career since. Other film credits of hers include Yours, Mine, and Ours, Friday the 13th, the 2009 film, which also stars Jared Padalecki,
I
just
love him.
Piranha 3DD, Mr. Brooks, a couple other like horror films.
Okay.
She's done quite a bit.
It's good to know that yours, mine, and ours can go to Read It and Weep
Right.
because you can use Dennis Quaid, I believe,
Yeah,
to get to yours, mine, and ours. This is for our game, guys. We still are talking about it.
we haven't played it in like 2 weeks, but
No, but we still talk about it.
uh, next we have Alexandra Krosny, who played Harmony. She was a main cast member, like full on one of the lead roles of Last Man Standing, the sitcom, only for season one. She was then recast, and there's like no explanation why.
I don't think I know what that show is.
It was it ended pretty recently, the Tim Allen like ABC sitcom,
Oh, okay.
the more recent one, but not the one that like just came out this year.
Okay.
Yeah. She also had several Nickelodeon original movie appearances. She's a crossover queen. She did Shredder Man Rules and The Last Day of Summer. We're not the NCOM podcast. We're not the NCOM duo, so can't talk too much about those, but she was in those. And then she's done a variety of TV appearances, stuff like Bones, Lost, Corey in the House, ER, things like that. Playing the role of Lindsay is Marquise C. Brown. She was in 14 episodes of Ned's Declassified School Survival Guide.
You know what? I think I remember that.
Yeah, she's
Significant amount of episodes,
yeah,
actually.
for that show, I think, which didn't have that many total episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, she was a pretty big recurring character there.
Mhm.
Otherwise, not that much. She had some TV credits in shows like Strange Angels, Scandal, and Grey's Anatomy.
Oh my gosh, Grey's
Yeah, it was
Anatomy.
probably just like one or two episodes
As
as
like
patient.
patient. Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody's been on Grey's Anatomy. Let's be honest. Demi Lovato was on Grey's Anatomy.
Yeah,
Come on.
it's not the craziest thing.
Yeah.
Someone else who was pretty well known for a Nickelodeon show. We got a lot of crossovers here.
A lot of Nickelodeon heads here.
Playing the role of Sawyer Sullivan or Myrna, because she also technically is Myrna because they show Myrna a couple times.
Yeah.
Is Allison Scagliotti. She's best known for her role on Drake and Josh.
She's Mindy.
Yes.
Right? That's her name?
Yes.
Yeah. Who ends up dating Josh. And she's a big character on that show.
Yeah. She was also in Warehouse 13 and Stitchers, and has a lot of other just random TV credits, stuff like One Free Hill, Switched at Birth. She directed like 5 episodes of the show Henry Danger.
Oh. Okay.
She's been around. Playing the role of Connor Kennedy is one of our true DCOM kings. We got Jason Dolly.
Oh, he really is a king.
Yeah.
He's been in so many DCOMs. Is it 5?
I think technically 4.
1, 2, 3. Dang. 4. That's still a lot, especially for a boy.
Yeah.
Not that many boys are in that many, and they're all distinct, which I think gives him extra credit.
Believe it or not the boy who has been in the most DCOMs in this movie, but we'll get there.
Right.
Yeah, he is a Disney Channel legend. He was PJ on Good Luck Charlie. He was Newt in Courting the House.
Mhm.
He was the lead in Hatching Pete, the lead in Minutemen. He's in Good Luck Charlie It's Christmas because
He's in Good Luck
Good Luck
Charlie.
Charlie, and he's done very little outside of Disney Channel. But he was nominated for a Young Artist Award for this performance.
He did good.
Yeah.
He was so funny, and we looked it up. This was his first Disney Channel role, right?
I believe so, yeah.
Like, I can see why they saw him in this. We're like, we need to hold on to this kid. This kid's got something.
Mhm.
And he did. And he's a king.
Yeah. Hell yeah, Jason Dolly. Playing the role of Marco Vega is Chad Broski, which is such a fake name to me. Chad Broski is the male, like, hot guy love interest.
Yeah.
Chad Broski.
Chad Broski is a fake name you would make up for a rock character.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up? I'm Chad Broski.
Pretty fun. He's done very little outside of this movie. He was on a single episode of Wizards of Waverly Place, of Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, of Scrubs, and Nashville, and like 4 other single episodes.
Whoa, so he did nothing.
Yeah, he's been doing some work as like a casting person as of late, but
Oh,
I
okay.
really couldn't find much.
Sure.
Playing the role of Ralph Bartlett, aka the dad, is Tom Virtue. He's also the dad in Even Stevens and the Even Stevens movie.
Of course.
He's also in Horse Sense.
Whoa.
He's also in Miracle in Lane 2.
Whoa.
And he's also in Brink.
Oh my
So that's
God.
5 DCOMs.
And we've done all those, and every single time I'm like, Benji, could you not mention that this small role in this movie is that one guy that's in a bunch of these movies?
He's my favorite part of this movie because he wears a hat with a tomato on it.
It's so true.
I'm not joking. Other notable stuff he's done include Secret Life of the American Teenager. He was in Green Book. He was in Iron Man 3.
Nice.
Lots of small credits on big projects. Like he certainly gets around. He has hundreds of references, but he doesn't do that much big. Even Stevens is probably his biggest role.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially in terms of Disney Channel.
Yeah.
Like, that's a long running show, notorious show, and movie.
I almost didn't cover the mom, but I figured why not? Because I only could find like one thing about her, and I found it interesting. Playing the role of Peggy Bartlett, the mom, is Connie Young. Have you ever heard of the film Troll 2?
No.
It's like infamously one of the worst films of all time.
Oh.
It's a sequel to. It's not actually a sequel film. It's a completely original film
What?
named Troll 2 because there was a different film called Troll, and they wanted to bank off the success on it, even though it has nothing related.
What?
It's
Is that
about
loud?
It's about goblins, not trolls, which is
Can you do
hilarious.
that? Can I just make a movie called Titanic 2?
I don't know. It depends how strict certain copyrights are, probably.
That's crazy.
But I thought that was hilarious, and it's like a beloved cult classic film because it's so terrible, and she's one of the main roles in it.
Oh.
Yeah. So
Wow.
that's the only thing she's really done notable.
That's hilarious.
Playing the role of Deanna, I believe that's the handler.
Oh, like it's so weird they say handler instead of agent.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay.
Is Robin Riker. I almost didn't talk about it, but I was like, oh wait, she's also in Don't Look Under the Bed and Brink, and we've talked about both of those already.
We have. Do you know who she was in those?
I believe the mom, and maybe not the mom for Don't Look in the Bed, but she was the mom in Brink.
Okay.
Yeah. She was best known for the sitcom Brothers. She also had roles in Get a Life, Shaky Ground, Thunder Alley, and Gregory Hines Show. Just a lot of sitcoms. She was briefly Bonnie Lockhart in Days of Our Lives.
Whoa.
And
Okay.
you said that last time too. She had a longer role in Bold and the Beautiful and a bunch of other TV and film credits. Don't need to talk about her too much. She's really not that big on this one.
I see Austin and Allie. Did you say that?
She was also in like a little bit of Austin Alley.
Dope. That's on Disney Channel.
And then finally, the role of Lenny Bartlett, the brother, is Nick Whitaker. He had minor roles in Hatching Pete and High School Musical.
High School
I
Musical.
think, yeah, the name was Alan, and I'm like, I cannot remember an Alan.
Ellen.
I'm guessing it's just a background basketball player. Maybe it was one of the guys at the cool guy table in Stick to the Status Quo.
Um. Al- Oh no! I just looked it up. He was one of the kids auditioning, and he
Nice.
goes, "I couldn't sneeze. See," with the suit.
Yep,
That's
that's
him.
him. And then maybe his best known role is he's the main role in the Benji film, Benji Off the
Is
Leash.
that a sequel Benji movie?
I'm pretty sure Benji's like a whole series.
Really?
This is something I should know more considering I go by Benji.
Yeah, but it's spelled differently. Benji speaking right now is BENG. I don't know if y'all know that. If you read my descriptions, you do. Benji the dog is with a J. J-I.
Yeah.
Totally different.
I found it hilarious when I looked at the IMDb page of Benji Off the Leash. It was showing the poster for a different Benji movie.
That's
And
hilarious.
I'm like, yeah, that's golden.
Did somebody do that on purpose?
No, I'm pretty sure it's just like
100% an accident.
pretty confident in that. I don't think enough people are looking at the Benji movies on IMDb.
That's so funny.
All right, for some fun facts. This movie is based on the book How My Private Personal Journal Became a Bestseller by Julia de Villers.
That is a wordy title. I get why they changed it for the
Yeah.
DCOM.
And the end scene of the movie, they show Jamie writing, like submitting a story with that exact title.
Yeah, so it's like in the movie, she writes the book that becomes this book that the movie is based on. It's all meta.
Mhm. For some reason, normally it's really difficult to find differences between the book and the movie, and I try and do that. This one had a whole section on the Wikipedia page, and it's minor. I
That's
can't.
awesome. I love how it says in the book, like it's a bullet list. It's in the
Yeah,
book, in the book, in the book.
I don't know why it made all those choices, but I'll read through a couple of them. First off, the author apparently has a cameo in the pizza parlor. I don't know when, I don't know who, but
Whoa.
there's a cameo. So, yeah. Uh, I'm trying to think if there's any ones that are interesting. In the movie, there was a school dance, but in the book, there wasn't any dance.
What? It's
Oh
such a
my God.
DCOM thing to do.
Like, some of them are just like hair color and stuff, and I don't really care about that.
In the book, Sawyer has blonde hair, and in the movie, she has brown hair. That's crazy.
Oh my God. In the book, Connor is a new kid, but in the movie, he's already friends with Jamie.
Yeah.
That that one
In the
actually,
book, it said he's a new kid.
yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And that one I feel like is actually
That is kind of
that's
important.
different.
Yeah. Jamie didn't kiss Connor in the book, but she did in the movie? What the heck, Paul? Making these kids kiss each other.
Yeah. There's a bunch of small stuff like that. It's honestly not that interesting. This mostly changes you'd expect.
Whoa, big one. Lenny isn't even there. She has a sister, not a brother.
Yes, that was going to be the
That's
big dimension.
important. Yeah. Jamie talks to Iz in the movie and not the book.
Yeah.
Again, I feel like
That's a story making choice.
narratively it's kind of weird, but it also kind of works. I don't know.
It's definitely something where that was a concept done, and I think it can be done worse. It could have been done better.
He really said, "I'm going to try this again with Dad."
Did it worse? It made a worse movie at a minimum.
Yeah.
This was filmed at Murray High School in Salt Lake City, which also filmed Minutemen and the auditorium scene of High School Musical.
So fun. You called it out immediately, which I think we did have this fact in Minutemen too, but you're like, this is the Minutemen school. You can tell.
Yeah, I feel like in Minutemen, I think they must just have more scenes in the auditorium because I felt like it felt way more iconic in Minutemen.
Oh, you mean like the cafeteria?
Yes.
Yeah. It did feel very iconic in Minutemen. And like the front of the school is very iconic in Minutemen.
Mm-hmm. And similar here.
They're way more in the hallways in this one. I guess they're in the hallways in Minutemen too.
And I feel like they staged Minutemen better.
They did. It's a
feel
better
like,
movie.
Yeah, the cinematography I think is better in Minutemen. Although I do like they try risks in this movie, and I appreciate that. I just don't think a lot of them land. But also, I would rather look at something that's kind of a slight train wreck, which is kind of this movie,
Yeah.
than just a by the numbers boring movie,
Mhm.
which it could have been. You want to hear the Disney Plus description?
Yes.
All right. When her journal is accidentally published and becomes an overnight success, Jamie cannot help but get caught up in her newfound celebrity status. Between book signings, interviews, and her new boyfriend, Jamie struggles to find a balance between her old life and her new one. She doesn't want to lose her friends or change who she is, but she can't escape is the star of her novel and her alter ego, who is pushing her to embrace her life as a celebrity. I felt like they really formed this whole description on the idea to do a pun on the word is,
Yeah.
but it's fine. It could have been worse. It kind of goes through like most of the plot.
Yeah, honestly, I think this one's alright.
Yeah,
Alright, and nothing to complain about. Usually I have very strong opinions about the Disney Plus subscription, but this one I don't.
cool, cool, cool.
You ready to jump into the movie?
I want to prom packed into this movie.
Oh, going recent. Alright. So we open up on a typewriter and a sharpening of a pencil, neither of which are used to actually write the book that she's writing because she writes it on her iPad.
Well, in the book, she didn't get an iPad laptop until after she wrote the book.
What?
No, but she's very much a digital writer and is very unhinged about it. We'll wait till it's shown.
Yeah, so we see books and then Jamie typing on her computer. And she has voiceover, and I'm just gonna summarize what she says. High school sucks with popular kids and pimples and whatever. But this story isn't like that. Meet Isabella, but you can call her Is. And then we get to see Is, who is Danielle
Yeah.
Panabaker. Yeah. And it's like playing out the story. And Jamie explains that high school is a fantastical kingdom of promise and peril with warriors who are like the wrestling boys, wizards who are the science geeks, and witches, the librarians,
Aren't wizards and witches the same?
kind of. But I guess she's saying witches are evil. I don't know. Um, we see during her writing, she makes the fonts like wildly different. Like the space scene is weird. It's kind of like a children's book.
This is the most unhinged part of like the whole movie because it happens throughout the whole time. He's just like basically typing on our computer, but anytime we get a glimpse on it, it's in a different font, on a different size, in a different color, on a different background. Sometimes there's drawing, sometimes there's other stuff.
Hmm.
It does not make sense for her to possibly be able to type all this unless she's got insane like computer command knowledge.
There's maybe like 20 words on the page because they're huge and then small and they're like spaced out and
I'll say it looks interesting, but thinking about this later becoming a successful book is crazy
it
to me.
would work as like a children's picture book.
But like these are kind of written like chapter books as far as I could tell, but
Do you
maybe not.
is the book this is based off like that?
I couldn't tell. It maybe.
Maybe.
When I saw like I could only see the front image of it when I was looking it up.
Did it look like
No.
okay, then it's probably not. I
So they're like, let's make it visually interesting. And again, I'd rather see a
guess.
bold choice that like is kind of stupid than we're talking about it right now. It's stuck in our
Yeah,
brains,
it is way more visually interesting than her just writing a regular
which is
paragraph.
probably the entire reason for it.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to complain too much about the fact that it's illogical, but it also is unhinged the entire time. That she's like writing her heart out, she's pouring her soul, and it's like in red font occasionally, and like goes from typeface 72 to typeface 20 randomly.
It's like an art project, but this is her personal journal. So maybe that is why she's like, it's therapeutic to make
Yeah.
it artsy like this or something.
It just doesn't feel like there's a lot of room for actual writing when the whole movie is established on the fact that she's a good writer.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
why it's like it feels more like art than it feels like writing.
What about her little sketches? Okay. So then we see Iz in gym class, and everybody's scared of climbing the rope, except for Iz. Luckily she's very strong, and she climbs the rope no problem. So then Hot Boy Marco Vincent catches her after she climbs down the rope. I guess she must have fallen a little bit.
Yeah.
He's the cutest boy in the kingdom. And then Jamie finishes her little story on her iPad.
Yeah. Um, After this, we're gonna see Jamie actually try and climb the rope, and it's not gonna go well. Did you ever have to climb the rope as a kid?
No, we had a rope in middle school one day, and it was completely optional. We were not forced to do
I
it.
feel like this is either something that was just before our time, or is extremely heightened by media, kind of like quicksand, where I
Yeah.
feel like I've seen it so many times as like a minor thing, but it
It's
was like
in
you never
so
see
much
this for
media.
like the fitness gram pacer test, which is way more iconic to our
Yeah,
generation.
that was real. The Fitness Gram Pacer test was real. The rope is a myth.
I'm like, I know I've seen ropes hanging from auditor or gymnasiums before. I know that it's a thing. I have never heard anyone who was like forced to climb the rope as like a test. If you have, let us know. I don't fully believe it didn't happen. I just don't think it was that pervasive.
Or it certainly didn't last.
Yeah.
Maybe it's like our
It was a
parents'
fad.
generation or something. Yeah. Okay, so then real gym teacher calls Jamie over to climb the rope, and Jamie's like, "Okay, this isn't that story. This is just a character in my journal." And then cute boy, who we learn is Marco, she did not change the name.
She changes every other name but kept Marco the same.
And then he's surprised when Marco is based off of him.
Well, he's dumb.
That's so true. So yeah, Marco's like schmoozing the gym teacher. He's like, "Yeah, I can climb the rope." And then Jamie's like, "I don't feel well." And he's like, "Too bad, you have to climb the rope." So she's struggling to climb the rope. He's like, "Ah, I can't climb it." And the bell rings and everybody leaves, and she's just on the rope. So then after the rope thing, Jamie struggles to walk in the hallway. So she's walking through the hallway. She is somehow hitting every single person that walks by her. Like,
I I want to know the stage directions on this. It's just like, okay, you got to put your arms out like you're holding your backpack, like you're so small, but also stick your elbows out so every person bumps into you.
and extras, make sure you hit her as you walk by. Like, to hit every single person, you have to be walking right in the middle of the hallway and like actively trying to hit people.
Yeah, it's her problem.
It's her problem. She's just so invisible. She voiced over, "This is a story of how my journal became a bestseller."
Or also known as how my private personal journal became a bestseller.
That is a longer way to say that.
Yeah. I mean, we were like, why did they change the name? But also it's kind of a bad title.
Why did she change
For
people's
a bad
names?
title for a movie is fine for a book.
Yeah, yeah. Why did she change people's names in her journal?
Maybe it's more fun to imagine herself as someone different, so like you don't have to deal with your own. You're not facing your own inferiorities, the own things you're not conscious about. And if you're going to change the name of someone, you may as well change the name of everyone,
Yeah, I guess
making
so.
it fictional.
Okay. So, more people hit her in the hallway and her books fall down. And then she sees her two girlfriends, Harmony
It's
and
a
Lindsay,
squad.
the squad. "We're going to be late for English. We have to save the planet
Yeah,
first."
these are two woke heroes.
Yeah, for real. Lindsay is like, "We can't go to English. We have to save the planet, which we're going to do right now."
You know, not the planet, the Earth, actually, the planet like the cinema that's in town.
Yes, it is or coincidentally also just named the planet. It's a theater. And they're making posters or whatever to protest and save it. And the poster is ugly. But it's Harmony's and she's an artist and she makes ugly posters. And nobody cares about saving the planet. And uh-oh, there's the popular girls. Evil Sawyer is
Yeah,
their
Sawyer's
leader.
so evil.
I mean, Myrna. She changes her name in the
Yeah, we
journal.
see it like erase from Sawyer into Myrna.
Yeah. And then the girls approach Jamie and she's like, I'm Jamie. And Sawyer's like, I was gonna say me. Ha ha ha. And then Jamie is blocking Sawyer's locker, so she leaves, and they talk about trying out for cheerleading. And clearly, Jamie isn't going to try out because she's a loser.
Yeah, she doesn't try out cheerleading. It feels like it's going to lead to her like having wanted to, but I don't think she ever was going to.
No, this is just them bullying Jamie.
Yeah.
And then Jamie voiceover is knew that she had to destroy Myrna and her evil clique, so she literally magics them away, and everybody cheers.
Yeah,
This
they
is
go
a zap.
zap.
Zap,
That's the
they're gone.
floss of this
Yes,
movie.
this and Dadnap are sister movies.
They really are.
Yeah.
And again, I like this film significantly more than Dad Naps, which is
This one is way more watchable.
yeah.
Yeah. So then Jamie sketches on her iPad during class. And Marco is there, the cute boy. His presentation is next.
Yeah, they're reading poetry.
Yeah. And everyone just admires him. They're like, oh. Just from him walking.
He's so cute.
He's
It's
so
Chad
cute.
Broski.
Chad Broski's so cute. Um, and then he reads a poem from his notebook about a cute girl that makes him smile and how he's invisible and she doesn't notice
Oh
him.
my God. And it's extremely obvious the twist of this movie.
Hey, might not be to our
Okay, well,
listeners.
let me spoil it for them.
Oh, okay.
Jason Dolly's the one writing the poetry. This scene makes it really clear if you know what's going on because he keeps looking over at Jamie to be like, "Hey, you like the poetry, huh?
Yeah,
I'm writing
Jason.
about you. I'm the guy who's like never been seen because you're the invisible girl or whatever."
Yeah,
It's
Jason Dolly is
clearly
not
his
impressed.
perspective.
Yeah. At lunch, Jamie's like, and he writes poetry. Is there anything Marco can't do? And Connor, who's Jason Dolly, Connor says, yeah, write poetry.
For like a first 2 minute joke, that's one of the best I've seen.
It's
It's
his
really
first
good.
it's his first line in the movie.
Yeah.
He delivers it perfectly. Jason Dolly is great at these comedic decom roles,
Yeah.
let me tell you. Jamie says, "Oh, you're just jealous. Trust me." Oh wait. Oh yeah, no. Jamie says, "You're just jealous." And Connor says, "Trust me, if I wanted to write a poem like that, I would have." You're right, it is very obvious that he actually wrote the poem. Um, then Jamie sees her brother Lenny, who's like, "Didn't I tell you not to be seen with me in
I
the
believe this is
cafeteria?"
the only time Lenny is shown at school. I might be
Yeah,
wrong about that,
maybe.
but every other time you see him is at a at-home scene.
Honestly, Lenny and his role in this movie did not need to be here. It's just another like E plot that they shoved into
Yeah.
this movie. But yeah, she's a brother. And then the four friends sit at the table. Jamie is working at the pizza place tonight. Her mom and dad own the pizza place. Her dad's making weird fish pizza.
The dad's entire plot is making weird pizza, trying to save the family business, not
Yes.
realizing it's just driving away customers.
Yeah, he's kind of an idiot.
He really is, and I really appreciate his tomato hat.
He has like a baseball cap and it just has an
It's not a
embroidered
logo.
tomato.
It's not what the pizza place looks like. It's just an embroidered like patch of a tomato,
Yeah.
and it's a big ass tomato on
Yeah.
a like brown hat,
It's pretty funny.
just a brown baseball cap. It's great. I want to know the story behind that.
Okay, so then Jamie looks over at Sawyer's table and Sawyer's very awkwardly reaching over to grab Marco's shoulder. Like, imagine her hand is like a claw. Just reach over.
Mhm.
Very weird body language. And there's very dramatic and sad music playing as Jamie longs for his love.
Yeah,
And Connor watches Jamie.
yeah. It's it's enough. It's just all
It's a
establishing stuff.
little over the top how dramatic the
This
music
is
is.
don't forget a 2006 film, so everything at this point was trying to be Mean Girls, and this is a very Mean Girls movie.
Yeah. I mean, that's DCOMs in a nutshell.
Yeah.
So now at the Pizza Shack, which is family owned, It's called the Pizza Shack. That's what the sign says outside. Jamie's dad is very dirty, and he's making liver and onion pizza.
Ew.
Ew.
Yeah, we're maybe gonna rank all these pizzas.
Everybody hates it.
Literally everyone.
He says he's trying to appeal to a wider audience.
And that's just dumb because I guess there is some appeal to going to the pizza place that tries weird ass pizzas, but like you have to have at least have some of them be good.
Yeah. And her friend says, like,
The cheese pizza is like
it's
elite,
the best in town. Yeah.
so why not? The pizza itself looks super mid.
Yeah, no, for real. And then Sawyer's there and she calls Jamie over. Um, and Sawyer doesn't recognize Jamie. Jamie's like, "It's me, Jamie.
You were
We
bullying me
You
earlier
were
today.
literally bullying me earlier." And Sawyer's like, "Oh, I guess so. I said I wanted no ice in my water." So Jamie like imagines is spilling the water on her in retaliation, but she doesn't do that.
Oh my god.
She should have just done it.
Then you're ruining potential customers for your family business. You don't do it.
So then that night, Jamie has her girlfriends over for a sleepover. In this movie, it is like constant that like Connor's their friend, but a lot of the time, Connor's not hanging out with
He's
the
really
main
the
four.
fourth wheel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which in the book, it makes more sense that he would be like the new kid then.
Mhm.
But the girls just hang out without him all the time. So they're over there for a sleepover and they're talking about their English essays and it's like some kind of contest. The winner is going to be published in the Education Times, I guess.
Which
Um,
is apparently a newspaper.
yeah. The
Also, her story that ends up winning doesn't seem newspaper. I can believe it winning. I can't believe it winning in a newspaper because how do you publish the color art pages and everything?
and it's the Education Times. Like, is it supposed to be an educational paper?
Yeah, well, it's student paper, so that makes enough sense to me.
And she just wrote like a young adult novel,
Yeah,
and that won.
we're
But
getting ahead of
we're
ourselves.
getting ahead of ourselves. That's not what she's trying to submit. Jamie is writing about making more efficient break times between classes. And her friends are like, "That's so boring. You're the best writer in class." And
Like, do something better.
Jamie's like, "No, I'm not." And they're like, "Yes, you are. If you're not a writer, why are you writing all the time?" And Jamie says, "Because if I didn't, I'd have a nutty."
Lines that aged weirdly.
Have a nutty? What does that mean?
You'd be a nutcase.
I would have a nutty. Then, oh no, Jamie's printer died. Do printers die?
No, I think this is really dumb. I also think it's really dumb that the solution is, oh, go to your brother. He has a printer.
He also
Why
has a
why do
printer.
multiple kids have a printer?
Yeah, and then
And then
she
presumably the parents have one too.
yeah.
You don't need be a one printer household like anyone would be.
Wait, no, the parents don't have a printer, or she would have just gotten them because she goes to Lenny and he's playing guitar, and Jamie sees the song that he wrote and he kicks her out. And so she's like, okay, I guess I can't use Lenny's printer. I'm all out of options. Why
Yeah.
doesn't her parents have a
What
printer?
what is this what is this society? Did they have to solve a fight between the kids finally like, fine, you both get a printer.
Printers are expensive, ink is expensive, especially in 2006.
Yeah.
What the heck? So Jamie is just gonna send the paper, she's gonna email it to Lindsay, and then Lindsay will print it out at her house because she probably also has a personal printer.
Mm.
So then, a little bit later, the girls are watching a soap opera, and while watching, Jamie gets distracted and accidentally sends the wrong paper to Lindsay.
Yeah,
She
there was
sends
a
her
big
journal.
dramatic moment.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
can talk about it. You were the soap opera
One
fan.
girl, one of the ladies in the soap opera, like, puts poison in a drink, and that was it. That was
It's
so dramatic.
crazy.
Yeah.
She's got like a poster of this soap opera on her wall.
Yeah. This is, the F plot of the movie.
There are a lot of plots in
There's
this
so
movie.
many. So then we see the journal being printed off, which bothers me so much.
It
It's
really there are so many things in this movie that I can't tell how much were active choices. Like the printer thing is a good example. And this where Kelsey's going to describe about how they printed in color what looks like legal pad.
Yeah, it's like a yellow legal pad, which I understand that this is how she's writing her journal, like stylistically. But then that gets printed. So on a white sheet of paper is a yellow background. And then with her artistic like fonts and stuff, that is so much ink. That is ink on the entire sheet of paper.
Yeah.
How did Lindsay have enough ink in her printer for like
Well,
15
she probably
pages
got
at
halfway
least?
through and then used her brother's printer. Oh,
So true.
yeah. So that, and then also like the printer thing, all these are just weird choices the movie made where I'm not sure how much they cared about the fact that none of it's realistic. And they were just like, this is kind of like an interesting way for this to go.
Yeah. And then can we talk about how Lindsay just turns it in for her instead of giving it to Jamie and saying, "Oh, here you go. Here's what I printed for you." That's what I would do. No, she sees the paper. She sees how much ink was wasted and goes, "Oh, this isn't what Jamie said she was going to write about. Guess she changed her mind. I'll just turn it in for her."
Without talking to her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
Very, very silly because
Very goofy.
just think about it. Like she knows what the essay was supposed to be on.
Did she read it? She probably didn't.
Well, you can tell by looking at the freaking page.
Yeah,
It's not,
it's all yellow.
yeah,
And
it doesn't blend in.
it says like is saves the world or something. Or did it not have a title yet?
I don't know.
Oh.
All right. So now we get to the most important scene of the movie.
Oh my gosh, this is like a 2-minute scene that's for pure transition, like in between.
It's essentially a cutaway gag that very vaguely relates to the plot.
It's for the G plot,
It's for like the Q plot.
the Q plot of the movie. So okay, Jamie and Harmony they're outside at some like farmers market fair thing, kind of like True Confessions, where it's just undisclosed outdoor
Community thing.
thing.
I think they
Yeah,
just said they were like at the mall. They could be doing demonstrations at the
but
mall.
it's outside.
Yeah, there's outdoor shopping malls.
But it's like a booth. I guess that could I don't know, it's
Yeah,
weird.
it could just be like an advertising thing.
Yeah. And so they're doing their makeup, and then Lindsay comes up and is pissed because this makeup is tested on animals. So they have to leave. And so they're walking down the street, and Sawyer passes them and makes fun of them. She says, "Do your makeup in the wild, girls." And then the girls turn around, and exactly half of their face is done with
This is not how
makeup.
makeup's done, right?
No. So it's like the right side of their face. It's split down the middle is how they're doing their makeup. That is a wild way to go. And when I say half of their face has makeup on it, I mean it's tan bronzer or like it looks like a bronzer. It's probably like a foundation. Very, very visibly different than their skin tone
It's
on half their
borderline
face.
blackface.
It is borderline blackface. It is borderline offensive, if not
No,
just offensive.
yeah. Notably, Lindsay also in this scene,
Is black.
is a black woman, and she's like, get away from this stuff. I think it's not like I think it barely passes like the bar because it's clearly just like a makeup thing, but it's also it is too close for comfort.
They did it so that you can visually see that half of their face is done.
Because yeah,
I get what they're going for. It is a horrible way to do it because it's half blackface, first off. Second, that's not how you do makeup.
no.
Third, why couldn't you just do like one side, like one eye has a ton of eyeshadow on it and the other doesn't?
Four, this is literally the most meaningless scene in the whole movie.
Yeah.
One of the most meaningless scenes in all of DCOM history because it's literally just for this small gag, and later on to be like, I'm protesting the mall for letting that makeup happen.
Yeah, it like kind of sets up a reason for her to protest, but she could have just said that she was protesting
Yeah,
that anyway,
yeah.
and we didn't need this backstory. This is purely for a gag, and
And
it's a
it's wild.
horrible gag. How is this movie not canceled yet? Because nobody knows about this
Because
movie.
no one
Let's
cares
be
about
real.
Read It and Weep.
We never talked about if we watched this as a kid or not. I had heard of it. I don't think I ever really watched it.
I vaguely remember it. I probably didn't watch the whole
I
thing.
definitely knew it
I feel
existed.
like I remember literally like the last couple scenes and the whale. And I wonder if I just saw the last 30 minutes at one point.
Yeah. I feel like I would have remembered more if I saw Jason Dolly in it, but I don't think I ever watched it. So, yeah. Anyway, back to the movie. So now it's been a month since the paper was turned in.
Yeah, big time jump.
I mean, it makes sense because they have to like choose a winner. So they announce a winner, and Lindsay's like, "You must be excited. You basically turned in a novel." And Jamie's like, "What?"
No, I didn't. I turned in a 5-page paper,
With footnotes.
right? You didn't submit something wrong for me.
And Lindsay goes, "Uh-oh." And then the popular bitches walk by and they're talking about how the teacher said it's the most provocative paper she's read. But since when is Jamie provocative?
All right, a couple comments here. Number one, we should probably define who these popular bitches are
It's
because
Sawyer.
it's Sawyer, and then there are two other people.
Jennifer
For,
1 and Jennifer 2.
that's what they're named, and I love that
Oh, funny.
actually.
That's who they are in the credits.
Yeah, I love that they're both just random Jennifers. That's a great little thing.
It's
Um,
hilarious.
Number two, there is nothing about her story that's provocative.
No, that's such a weird word for the
That's the
teacher to
wrong
use.
word. You could use so many words that could describe like the most creative, the most like the most
Ambitious.
ambitious, the most like wild, innovative. There's so many things you could use. Provocative is the wrong.
Provocative.
It's sounding like her story is so deep on a emotional level.
It's
It's really like
silly.
changing your world, which doesn't make sense. This is very much like what's cool about it is kind of how it breaks the standard, but not in a provocative way.
Jamie's like, no, that can't be me. Break times aren't provocative. And Lindsay's like, break time? Oh, that's not the file you sent me.
Again, she knew what the story was supposed to be about.
They literally had a conversation about how she was going to write about break
She was a
times.
part of that
And
conversation.
granted, it has been a month since that conversation.
But she printed it out and turned it in the
The next
day
day.
after the conversation.
Yeah. Lindsay really has no excuse. This is all of her. This is all her.
This is all her fault. When she gets mad later, it's her fault.
It's her fault. She did this to herself.
Yeah.
Um, and then Connor comes running in with the newspaper because that's what published her story. Cut to the teacher reading it out loud in like their English class. The Isabella story. And Sawyer's like, Isabella isn't a realistic character.
Sawyer's just a hater.
She is. And Harmony's like, too bad. This is great. Let's keep reading it. Because Harmony stands up for her friends.
Yeah, the teacher's just reading it out loud.
Yeah,
Like,
teacher loves it.
the teacher's so into it.
And then she reads about how Marco Vincent is so cute. Maybe this is the provocative part. And Marco is like, Marco's pretty cool.
Yeah, Sawyer's like, I hate this. And he's like, I don't know. I think that Marco guy's kinda hot.
I think Marco's really cool. Like his name is also literally Marco, and they never acknowledge that it is.
No,
No, they don't.
no, I think at one point they do. Not to
Really?
Marco. I think it's I'm pretty confident it's like the friends, the girlfriends. They all talk with each other and go like, "Oh, and Marco's Marco."
Oh, really?
I'm pretty sure. It's like
It
a
should be
small
so
thing.
obvious.
Yeah, it's really dumb that Marco doesn't realize, but then again, if everyone's different, maybe you just assume otherwise.
Who's better, Marco in this movie or Marco in Avalon High?
Avalon High.
I know. It's not even
It's not
close.
even close. This movie's Marco is so close to being like a fun himbo, but never gets there to me.
No,
He's
he's just
not
really
funny
he
enough,
doesn't do much.
and he doesn't respect women enough.
So true. All right. So then in the hall, people are saying, "Hey, great story. Way to go, Jamie." And Jamie's like kind
Jamie's
of
having like a
freaking out about
panic
it.
attack,
Yeah.
which would be more interesting if the whole reason she's having a panic attack, I guess her personal journal's out, which is pretty scary.
Everybody likes it
Everybody likes it.
and says it's cool. And then she's like eavesdropping in the bathroom, some girls, and they're like, "Oh, I love this story. It's so inspiring." And then they go, "Next time I see some bitches, I'm gonna zap them."
That's exactly how they say it.
That's word for word what they say. They say, "I'll zap them." And then Jamie freaks out and it like the camera zooms out. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like it zooms out of her in the stall.
Yeah.
It's an interesting camera choice. I like that. But like why is she freaking out? Because zapping is embarrassing because she made
She's
that
like,
up.
how do I have this much influence? Like, this is all stuff I was writing in my personal diary. Like, what the
girls
hell's going on.
like it.
That's the thing. I want to support this more. I feel like they needed to delve more into like the weirdness of having something that you had private shared with the world in a positive manner.
Yeah.
I feel like that's interesting. There's a lot of comments there. That's not the angle they go with this movie, and I have to accept that. They really like they're trying to touch upon it here, but they abandon it too quickly. It's like the next couple scenes, she's like embarrassed about it all, and then suddenly she's like an author.
A million things happen so fast in this movie because I kept pausing because I couldn't keep up. And it's like, oh, we're only 10 minutes into this movie. How is there so much left? Like they do a lot in their short run time, let me tell you. All right, so then outside of school, Connor asks Jamie where she's running off to, and Jamie says to crawl under a rock. And he says, why? You just won $1,000 savings bond.
Let's go.
Jamie's like, no, my journal was just read in front of the whole class. And he's like, what was your journal? And she says, yeah. And now it's published. And Connor's like, chill out, it'll all blow over. I know. I
I
know.
know so.
I wrote, I know so. I was typing fast, guys. Okay. I know so. And then Jamie's a little reassured by
And she
this.
could have let this blow over, but then she decides not to. But she was kind of being peer pressure.
Well, it
We'll
does
talk.
kind of blow over, and then in the next scene, yeah, she makes some different choices. So at home, her mom's telling her that a publishing company reached out and they want to make her journal into a book. And Jamie's like, I don't know, the humiliation just died down. I can't take another lunch of zapping. And mom's like, well, you shouldn't give up this opportunity. Like, the mom really pushes her to do this.
I do kind of get it, but I also feel like you need to understand your child's emotions of what they're sacrificing their personal sanity for all this. But
Yeah,
also, it's a really cool opportunity that she very likely would never get again to break into an industry she's interested in.
that's a good point.
So I get the mom's behavior.
Yeah, I think in the end, it does need to be Jamie's decision, but that is a good point that, like, if she really wants to do this, this is a really good opportunity to do it. But also, she's 14.
Yeah.
She doesn't need to be doing this right now. But, I mean, she ends up doing it, so. Jamie says, I don't even have any more pages. But then she goes into her room and she pulls out, like, physical journals that she
She
has.
does have more
She has more
pages.
pages. And then is peers. And she's like, yeah, duh, you do have more pages.
Yeah, from this point on, is kind of like the confidence side,
And she's
the
like,
ego side of
she's an alter ego.
yeah, Jamie. It's kind of like it's a little bit of devil on the shoulder, but especially at this beginning, it's much more like be confident in yourself, like own yourself.
Yeah, she's not a devil yet. She becomes a devil.
It's just like she's always gonna try and push Jamie to take the more like ambitious, active like route
Yeah.
of searching for herself, which is a great example of where I think this works as a technique is it's something where it's a personality trait that is good to a fault. Then there's a point where it starts being bad to start trying to cut a bigger slice of pie for yourself, to put yourself out there.
I guess what I'm misunderstanding is like I didn't realize how popular Hungry is as a character is. I feel like she's not, based on the excerpts we get from the book. Isn't she supposed to be like a hero and nice? And she's like, you need to do whatever it takes to be popular, Jamie.
Well, yeah, it's not the character talking though. To me, it's Jamie talking to herself,
Well, yeah,
but
but
it's
it's
through the
also,
guise of the character. But like, it's not the actual character's traits. That's my take.
I guess. So Iz says you can't walk away because you're scared. Um, And it's like the editing of this scene is like cut, cut, cut. She's here. She's not here. Whoa,
It's
whoa.
trying to feel overwhelming, which is
Yeah.
kind of what the whole film does, and that's kind of a theme of the film.
Honestly, nobody ever brings it up. I think Jamie has schizophrenia or
Oh, I think she has schizophrenia.
some kind of something.
She has an imaginary friend that's a little too real.
Yeah. I've seen Beautiful Mind. You can cut that.
I like how you're saying that to yourself. You're talking it directly to me, like I'm gonna edit this episode.
I can cut that. So then Jamie brings her mom more journals because she decides to do it.
Oh my
And
god.
then Lenny comes down and makes fun of her with little zaps and says her book is a pipe dream. But transition, she has a published book. It is not a pipe dream, it is real. So it's like time has passed again. Big time jump, she has a published book now.
Yeah. And it's good that they don't just like pretend the time hasn't passed because they would need all the time to do all of this stuff.
Mhm.
So I'm glad they actually do.
Yeah, they make the timeline
They make the
realistic.
timeline realistic because now it's like, oh, it's basically second half of her freshman year of high school.
Yes. Her teacher asked for her book signature, and Jamie's like, "No," but then she does it anyway, and then everybody runs over to get her signature,
Yeah, they're selling
and
the books in the school, and everyone is popping off.
everybody's reading her book in the hallways, and Jamie's walking down the hallway to, like, horror music. Like, "Oh, I can't believe everybody's reading my book that I got published from a published company. Jamie, you asked for this." Now she's horrified that people are reading it.
I mean, again, it's still her private journal that she put. You ever make something? What if all of your TikTok drafts just got published? And even if people like them, would you enjoy that? Would you feel a little weird even if it was very
I would feel
positive
weird, but
reviews?
here's the thing. If I took all of my TikTok drafts and made them into a heavily edited and looked over video, I would feel less weird about it, I think,
Yeah,
because she spent months with a publishing company making this into a
it's still a
novel.
big social change for her. She was
Yeah.
not popular, and now everyone's trying to talk to her.
But then
There's some whiplash. There's
she
social
says,
whiplash.
"What have I done?"
Yeah, it's like it's just a lot. I think you're being too harsh on this 14-year-old girl.
I mean, harsh on Paul Hohen.
Yeah. Come on the cast.
Is like, "You started a revolution." So then at the Pizza Shack, place is popping.
Yeah, everyone's like, "Hey, let's go eat pizza, the place of the person who wrote this book."
Yeah, this book is amazing.
To be
Let's get
fair, I
pizza.
think they mention the pizza place in the story.
And they also have a sign that says, like, "Jamie works here."
Yeah,
Oh, and they're even eating the chicken feet pizza.
crazy. Chicken feet pizza or onion and liver.
Yeah.
We're
Uh,
just gonna do a ranking system, like not a ranking. We're
I've never
doing
had liver, but
like
I like
I
onions.
feel like liver and onion is gonna beat chicken feet. Chicken feet seems terrible.
Yeah.
Are we keeping the worst or are we keeping the best?
I don't know. What do you wanna know at the end? Which one is the most edible? Probably not, right?
Probably the worst.
Probably the
Okay,
worst.
so keeping chicken feet.
Yeah. And then Marco comes up and talks to Jamie. He's like, "Hey, I like your book." But then Sawyer's like, "Marco, come back." And, um, and then he leaves. And then Jamie's friends are like, "Can you believe Marco Vega read your book?" His name is Marco Vega, and in the book, it's Marco Vincent.
Yeah, he was a late character.
Yeah. Um, and they're like, "It's because you named the love interest after him." Okay, so they do acknowledge it,
Yeah,
but he just doesn't realize it. He's an idiot.
yeah.
And then Connor's like, "It's surprising he can even read."
Connor hates this dude.
For real. And understandably why.
Yeah, he's jealous as hell.
Yeah. And also he's stupid. And then Sawyer says, "Hi, Jamie." So now Sawyer knows Jamie's name. And then Jamie tells her friends that she based Myrna off of Sawyer.
Yeah. This is where they're like, oh yeah, people are in the book. And they're all
Yeah,
like, what? The evil cheerleader is Sawyer? That's
that's
crazy.
crazy. And then Harmony's like, whatever, they'll never realize the characters are based off of them. And then Lindsay's like, "Are we in the book?" And she's like, "Yeah, you're the coolest kids in the kingdom."
I wish you
Whoa.
wrote down the names because I remember like I think Harmony's name is Melody, which I thought was both funny and like clever, but also extremely stupid, and I appreciate it.
Like it.
Because like it's going from harmony to melody, it's really funny to me.
That is funny.
It's like,
Yeah, I didn't write them down.
how did these girls not realize they were in the book? You know, the girl's name was Melody.
Well, Marco didn't realize he was Marco.
Yeah, maybe it's just like not related at
Well,
all.
it's like Sawyer and Myrna are pretty
They're pretty
different
different names.
names.
I completely get that.
Yeah. Okay. So then so they're like, "Yeah, oh my gosh, we're the coolest kids in the kingdom." And Jamie goes, "Yeah, it's mostly fiction."
Pretty good insult there.
So rude. And then she walks away and they're like, "Oh."
I do think this movie occasionally has really good witty dialogue.
That is
It's
true.
not constant, but it has some jokes.
There are some genuinely funny moments, mostly from Jason Dolly.
Mhm.
That part was also funny. It's also just because she's being mean. Like, I don't think she's joking. And then Lenny reads the book in the back and he hates it. And the dad's like, lighten up. And Lenny's like, I'm mad that my character in the book is a stinky troll.
So everyone really close to Jamie has figured out that they're in the book,
Yeah.
but that doesn't get leaked for a while.
And then Jamie's mom makes Lindsay and Connor start working. So Harvey already worked at the pizza place. And she's like,
All right, we need more hands. Y'all got hired.
yeah, Lindsay and Connor, why aren't you doing anything? I don't pay you to do nothing. They're like, you don't pay us. And she's like, well, I will now. You work here.
It's very
Like,
good.
okay.
Yeah.
And then the kids are at work and they're doing a great job.
Huzzah.
So,
And at that night, they're like cleaning up the restaurant.
and most people picked off the toppings.
Yeah, I think the dad's like, oh my god, everyone's here for my pizza. I'm so happy.
Yeah,
And the kids were like, no, they're not.
no. And then they mentioned that tickets for the deep sea dance come out on Friday. And Harmony's like, I don't want to go. I don't have a date or a snorkel. And Lindsay's like, I have a snorkel.
I like that joke. Feel like that's kind of fun.
And Jamie says, we don't have to have dates. Let's just go as a group. And Connor's like, that's a great idea.
He's like, I can go to the date without having to ask her out. Let's
go.
go.
I don't care that the other two friends are here. I get to go with Jamie. So it's a date. They all agree. And they put their hands in as a little huddle. And even Iz's hand is there. The imaginary Iz hand. Remember Iz is here sometimes?
Yeah, she's here like half the time.
Yeah. I think they just wanted to give Danielle Panabaker as much screen time as she possibly
They
could
knew
get.
the marketing angle was the Panabakers being together.
Yeah. At school, some girls are like, "Oh, hey, Jamie, do you want to join the like decorating committee for the dance?"
And Jamie, for some reason, is really into this
She
idea.
loves this idea.
The other friends are pretty hesitant, and they're like, we got other stuff to do and whatnot. And Jamie's like, no, this is going to be the most fun thing we ever do. I'm signing us up.
Yeah, Harmony, you're so good at art. And Lindsay, you're really good at rallying troops. And Lindsay's like, I was going to protest the makeup company at the mall.
Yeah, don't you remember that plot?
Yeah. And Jamie says, well, we can do both. And Harmony's like, it's a waste of time. And Jamie's like, no, don't worry. I will handle everything. And by that, I mean, I will sign us up.
I will sign us up, and then I will literally never go.
Yeah.
All right, bye.
Bye. At home, there's a ton of people making up Jamie, like professional people, like doing her makeup and her clothes. And her handler is there, which is her agent, but they only call her a handler.
Yeah, maybe it's an age thing.
Maybe, but kids can have agents, though.
They
Is it a
can.
book thing? But authors have agents.
I'm looking up handler versus agent. An agent is someone who provides information or perform tasks for an intelligence agency, while a handler is an intelligence. That's not the type of agent I want. I don't know. I feel like handler, the whole point is like getting them to the right location and keeping them calm, which feels weird.
But she also like books stuff for her.
Yeah, she really is an agent, but they call her a handler because I guess that's just what they went with.
Mm.
Yeah.
And she pinches Jamie's cheeks to make them look
More blush.
better, I guess.
They have a little color in them.
Just put blush on her.
Yeah, I don't know.
And they're like, this seems like a lot of effort for an interview. And she says, it's not just an interview. Book is on the top 10 list or whatever.
They're like, we spend a lot of money to make this book on the top 10 list.
Yeah.
Which I kind of like the subtle joke of, like, the New York Times top bestsellers list is basically a lie consistently.
Yeah. It's like actually easy
It's
to
like,
get on it.
If you have a publishing company that wants to get you on, it will get you on.
Yeah. So then we get this little scene with Connor. This is the like L plot of the movie. Connor asks his brother.
At some point we might need to define what the plots are in this movie. We've been using this bit for a while.
Connor asks his brother to drive him to the dance because he says while they're like planning, like, oh, I can get my brother to drive us in his truck. Turns out he needs to earn that. So
his brother, by the way, is like 30.
He looks like he's 30.
Which it's not impossible.
It's
but
weird.
He is still living at home. I'm like, if you think of him as like a 24-year-old, maybe he's getting like a graduate degree. and he's
I guess
at home at
the
the time.
actor looks old though.
Yeah,
Yeah. And I've seen sibling age gaps, but like I think they should have casted him differently.
I think it's fine. I don't think he's such a minor role in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah. So Connor asks his brother to take him and his friends to the dance in the truck, and the brother's like, no. And then Connor's like, if not for me, do it for Jamie. And he's like, whoa, you're taking Jamie? Good job, Squirt. He says this a lot. He's like, way to go, Squirt. Um, Connor's like, I'll clean your room. And he's like, you also have to like do laundry and clean my car. And clean the iguana cage apparently is mentioned. And he's like, all right, deal.
Yeah, he's like listing all the possible chores he could do, and then the brother's just like, "Oh, and this one, right?" I think Connor's like, "I was gonna do like one of those,
Yeah.
but he's
He
gonna
has to
do
do
them all."
all
And the brother, while being an emotionally supportive brother, is fully taking advantage of the labor.
for one night of driving.
Yep,
Yeah, it's kind of unfair.
yeah, but he's like emotionally supportive, so he's got
Yeah,
that going
he
for him.
says, good job, Squirt.
Well, I'm saying like through the rest of the movie, he's giving emotional advice.
Yeah. So then, we see Lenny playing guitar in his room while Lindsay is in the doorway of Jamie's room just watching him. And the girls are helping Jamie pack. And Lindsay's like, well, Lenny sounds pretty good. And Harmony's like, yeah, he's awesome. And Jamie says, yeah, but he won't play anywhere but his bedroom. Well, he should play at the dance. This is the, like, X plot of the movie.
No, no, no. This is bigger than the makeup
Okay,
plot.
okay, this is the
E plot.
P plot. The P plot. He should play at the dance. And Jamie's like, well, yeah, he should also wash his hands more, but I don't think we'll get him to do either.
That was such a sitcom line.
Yeah, it's
Not,
also a
not.
DCOM
No,
line.
I'm like not even saying that negatively.
Yeah, where's the laugh track?
I would honestly, I do wish there was a decom with a laugh track. Imagine that for a second.
Did True Confessions not have a laugh track during their little sitcom scenes?
I'm saying a consistent
Yeah,
laugh
a
track. That
consistent
would be
one.
interesting.
Yeah. Okay, so then Jamie and her mom are off for this big book tour thing. I'm
It,
assuming they go to New York.
I'm guessing they're meeting the publish, like going to the actual publishing company, doing a couple press things in New York. We don't know where they are to begin with.
No, I don't know where the movie takes place.
They're pretty vague about that.
Yeah.
It could be anywhere, anywhere.
Could be anywhere, anywhere.
Could be anywhere in the U.S.
Or Canada.
It could be in Canada.
It probably isn't, but
It feels American.
yeah, even when they film in Canada, they pretend it's in America.
Yeah.
So, um, Lenny does a poor job at saying goodbye to them. Is going with them, of course, in Jamie's imagination, and she says, "Shotzi on the window seat." And Jamie's like, "When did she get so bossy?"
This is the villain, the heel turn.
The heel turn. And then we get a montage of Jamie doing like a photo shoot and being on a talk show. And Harmony and Lindsay are working on their big paper mache sculpture for the dance, which is a whale. And Jamie speaks in front of a large crowd, and there's more photo shoot.
Yeah, we're getting through the whole press tour and stuff.
Yeah.
By the way, any actual schooling in this school is done. Well, that's fine. That's really not the point of the movie.
What?
All the actual school and schoolwork that was ever part of this
Yeah,
film.
we see them sitting in classrooms, but they never like do work anymore.
They need like the school setting to make it relatable to like the
Yeah.
plot and everything and have them have a chance to meet up. But
Mhm.
it's so clear that like schoolwork is so not important to this. I'm kind of happy they don't even touch on it.
Yeah.
There's too many plots anyways.
I feel like it's probably one of the more iconic scenes during this montage of like it switches between Iz getting her photo taken and Jamie getting her photo taken.
From cut to cut.
Yeah, the two Hannah Baker sisters. Um, so
Full on trailer shot.
yeah, and also the pizza place is popping off, and we learned that her Jamie's full name is Jameson.
Yeah, which is what I think is weird about that is not that her name is Jameson because I feel like that is something that exists.
I've never heard of a girl named Jameson.
Yeah, I don't know either, but like I've heard of people named Jameson.
Yeah, I've heard of boys named
And
Jameson.
like maybe they're like we like the name Jameson. We're gonna use it, and you can go by Jamie, which is a girl name.
Yeah, I guess I never thought, like, is there a longer version of Jamie for a girl?
What I
Maybe
think
not.
is weird is she published this book, and when you're an author, you get to pick what goes on as your author name.
Yeah.
Who convinced her to go as Jameson when she always is like, I'm Jamie?
People are gonna assume that's a boy name,
Maybe that was the point.
but it's
Always sell,
so
but it's such a girly book.
yeah, the cover is so girly. They're gonna assume it's a gay boy, and that's not good for marketing. In 2006?
2006?
No way.
Our homophobic ass?
And then everybody sees her on TV to end the montage, and they cheer at the pizza place. Yay!
That's my girl. She's on TV. Yeah, she was on a scheduled interview.
So now Jamie and her mom are at a very fancy party, and her mom's like, "This party is jamming." Oh my god, mom, you're so
Can your
embarrassing.
generation use like the word groovy at least? I feel like jamming is back in style.
Handler lady says, "You guys have fun." And Jamie sees some celebrities from the soap opera, and mom's like, "Let's go say hi." And Jamie's like, "No, you can't just go up to celebrities."
Like, you don't get it, mom.
And then they see like a musician that the mom likes.
It's like, oh my god, I have all his albums. And Jamie as a joke is like, oh, go up and say hi to him.
Well, first she says, "What's an album?" As if albums don't still exist.
If this movie was made like 6 years later, I would get it more.
Vinyl came back.
It's funny, yeah, albums are so back.
But even though vinyl went out of style, CDs were in, and then streaming
It,
was in,
it
and
was
there's
just
still
like during the
albums.
iTunes revolution, which was like realistically a couple years. It was
It's
there.
around this time.
Singles really were the big.
Yeah. So yeah, Jamie's like, "Well, why don't you go say hi to him?" And the mom's like, "I will go say hi to him." So she actually is just not afraid to go up to celebrities. And now Jamie's alone with Iz, and Iz says, "You should go mingle." And then Jamie sees a dog, and she's like, "Oh, I'll go pet the dog."
Is like not what I thought, but okay. Uh-oh, guess whose dog it is? It
It's
was
Amber, the celebrity.
Amber Tiffany.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, she's the soap star, and they get their hair stuck together in a very stupid, unbelievable
Yeah,
scene.
they just touch their heads lightly together, and somehow her hair gets stuck in the hairpin. I don't know.
That means they both have to go to the break room.
The green room.
Yeah.
So then they get unstuck in the green room, and Jamie introduces herself, and Amber is being bitchy to her. But then another lady comes in, who I also think was in the soap opera,
I think
and
there's like 3 soap opera stars
yeah,
within
she's
here.
the lady that poisoned. Yeah, whatever. It was such a low letter plot that I forgot, or I didn't think it was gonna be important, and then it was kind of important, the soap opera. Everything goes back.
Everything
All these
we
plots,
actually don't really have ends that aren't untied by the end.
the makeup is like they're protesting the
Yeah.
makeup.
Like we are kind of shitting on this movie for having so many storylines, but at the same time, they don't drop them.
That's just what I meant by like you're just thrown into this plot, jostled around a million different directions, but we get to a finish line.
And that's where like again, the whole movie's supposed to, in my opinion, feel chaotic, and it succeeds in that.
It does. It definitely does.
I realistically, this film is succeeding at more what it's trying to do than not. But I also wouldn't blame anyone if they're like, "This is just not it for me, fam."
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, the other celebrity girl recognizes Jamie. She's like, "Oh my gosh, I love your book." And Amber's like, "You wrote a book?" And they're like, "Yeah." And Amber, you were mean, so go away. That's essentially what happens. So then Jamie goes back out to the party and sees her mom dancing. And then Jamie meets the actor. Oh my gosh, it's the actor from the soap opera. And she has his poster. And then it like cuts and she's in a limo talking to her friends about the encounter. We don't get to see the rest of the encounter because apparently the rest of it was boring because the handlers came in and
Yeah,
interrupted it.
sure. But then we get to hear everyone talking on the phone, and they're like saying everything cool that's happening. But suddenly, I guess there's actual plot being involved in here, isn't there?
Um, I guess. So, like, they're talking on the phone. The girls mention the whale sculpture, and then they tell Jamie that Sawyer and Marco broke up.
Oh my god.
And then Connor takes the phone. He's like, "Can I please talk to Jamie?" And they're like, "Okay, Connor." And he takes it, but then the handler's like, Jamie, you need to hang up right now." And so Connor didn't get to say anything to
Poor
Jamie.
Connor.
Poor Connor.
Let's talk about Connor a little bit more.
Okay, Connor does some gross laundry, and then his brother comes in, and he's like, "No, not more laundry." And he says, "Well, you need a ride, don't you?" "Good job, Squirt. Thought you would have quit weeks ago. You must really like her."
He's really taking advantage of his brother.
But he's supportive because he calls him Squirt.
Yeah.
And he says, "Good job, Squirt."
Good job, Squirt.
Again, not proportionate to one night of driving.
No.
Okay, so then at school, everyone says hi to Jamie. And now Jamie likes the attention. She's like, "Yes, people are saying hi to me and think my book is cool." And she has more confidence now.
She kind of has done her little bit of a turn where she's enjoying the fame
Yeah,
finally.
during the montage, her like publishing montage, it was like, is finally convinced her to be confident.
Yeah.
One boy asks if she really met Amber Tiffany, and then the girls come up and mention an animal rights rally, which is like the bar plot.
Well, that's still the makeup
Oh shoot.
because the
Yeah,
makeup's
you're
testing on
right.
animals.
Whatever letter that was,
But they
I
stop
guess.
mentioning makeup. They just say the animal rights rally.
Yeah. Lindsay's putting on a rally, and Jamie's like, "Sure, I'll be there." And then at lunch, Marco runs into Jamie in the whole lunchroom. Everybody in the lunchroom stops
Yeah,
and looks
they
at
have like a
them.
brief glancing pass.
Yes, they don't say anything, they just
Every
look at each
everyone
other.
goes, and again, it's like a fun little game. This movie wants to be funnier than it is because it's a little too serious.
Yeah. But it also does have, like,
But
little
like
silly
when it
moments.
is funny, it's funny.
Yeah.
So if this movie was perfect, it would be a really funny good time. But it's not a perfect movie, but it does enough right that
If
I'm not gonna
maybe
be
they
mad
just
about
if maybe they just took out some of the plots.
it. Focus a bit more on the emotional character. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's stuff here.
Sawyer calls Jamie over to sit with her at her table.
Oh my god.
And
This
so
is literally just Mean Girls.
it's crazy, and the friends are like, "Oh, well, we already heard all your stories, so go ahead." And Jamie goes, "Okay," and she leaves, and Connor's like, "Well, that didn't take much prodding."
No.
It's crazy.
Why
Like,
would Jamie want to
why
be
would
with
you
Sawyer?
want to?
Especially when they're broken up now?
It becomes like this whole thing where is her devil on her shoulder is like, you have to be friends with Sawyer to be popular, even though she's already
She's literally already
popular.
popular.
And Sawyer's literally the villain in her book, and is supposed to not like those girls. But
That's where I'm
now,
like, I don't think is the character. I think is a manifestation of the
yeah,
person ego and confidence.
she certainly changes into someone
Yeah.
else. It's ugh, whatever. Harmony's like, "Well, we need to share her now. She's popular." And Lindsay's like, "As long as she fills my rally, like the pizza place, I'll be good."
Yeah.
So they're like, what can Jamie do for me?
I appreciate Lindsay. It's very transactional friendship.
For real. So then Jamie tells the popular bitches all the fun stories, and Marco walks by awkwardly because remember, him and Sawyer broke up.
He
And
would if he has something for Jamie, wouldn't that look bad if Jamie's hanging with his ex? Just saying,
I
Jamie,
know
what are you doing?
she like wants to be friends with Sawyer, but also be girlfriends with Marco.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where it doesn't even make sense for her to want to be with Sawyer. I get her wanting to be popular, but it would be like a replace Sawyer thing, not a
Yeah, they shouldn't have done the become friends with Sawyer thing. They should have focused on her becoming girlfriends with Marco, like girlfriend boyfriend, and that taking up her time. I don't know why Sawyer is taking up her time.
Sawyer's just gonna make up a burn book and call herself a fugly slut.
That should have happened. Paul didn't have the guts to do that.
Paul make Mean Girls 3? He's upsetty spaghetti.
Who's upsetty spaghetti?
Connor.
Oh, you're reading my notes? We're not there yet. We have a couple lines before he's upsetty spaghetti.
I saw my opportunity and I took it.
Lindsay says, "You think now that Marco is single, he'll take Jamie to the dance?" And Connor's like, "What? No.
That's not how you play the game.
What? She's going with us." And the girls are like, "I think the rule was that if we don't have dates, we all go together." And Connor's like, "Since when? I don't remember making that rule." He's upsetty spaghetti.
Why do you say that? That's so cringe.
I'm the one that wrote it, but you also said it.
No, I enjoy it.
Sometimes that's just how I take notes. What's a good way to summarize the scene? He's upsetty spaghetti.
The amount of times I've wrote "fuck it, we ball" in notes has been not like over two. Because sometimes it's just a "fuck it, we ball" moment.
And sometimes he's upsetty spaghetti.
Yeah.
So then, after school, Jamie walks home with her girls, her like regular friends, Harmony and
Like
Lindsay.
this scene's so weird. Like
The scene is so funny.
there's so much about this movie where it's again. I don't know if it was just like the first draft of the movie, if these are active choices to just add to the chaotic feel of everything, but this doesn't make sense.
I love this scene though. I love it because it doesn't make sense. So they're walking home and they're like, "So how was eating lunch with the popular girls?" And Jamie's like, "Oh, it was fine. But not like sitting with you guys though. It's like I was losing IQ points. Ha ha ha." Um, and she's like, "Why didn't Connor walk with us today?" And they're like, "Oh, he's just acting like a boy lately."
Silly little boy. He's
Yeah.
not girls anymore.
And they're like, "Well, we'll see you at the pizza parlor later because we all work there now." And Jamie says, "No,
No.
I quit. Didn't we cover this? I thought my handler called you guys."
Then she puts on a purple headband she grabbed earlier, and like a musical flare comes up as it comes up, and it's like, oh, this is her evil moment.
This is her putting on
This
her
is her becoming
crown.
is. The evil is.
Evil purple headband moment. She So she's like, "I thought my handler called you guys to tell you that I quit the pizza place. Why would your agent
You were at school together for so long.
why would your agent call your personal friends to tell them you quit
You
a
were so
job?"
busy.
Imagine she's like, "Oh, by the way, can you call my friends and tell them that I don't work at the pizza parlor anymore?
So the friends reasonably go, "You're not serious."
You're not serious." Okay, second point though, before we talk about what they say, it's her family business.
Yes. This is her family pizza parlor, which I guess, yeah, sure, you're allowed to quit it. That's fine.
But your friends also
But
work.
but like it's weird.
It's weird. It's weird.
You could be like, I'm taking less hours or something. You quit?
You quit? And you thought your handler called us and told us this? So, like, you're not serious. And she goes, "No, I'm joking." Well, maybe it's the truth.
What?
What?
What does that mean?
She said, "Thought I told someone." Come on, you guys. It's not like I need the money anymore. Bye bye.
And
And
she
then she
walks
walks away.
away.
She walks the fuck away from them. What is the scene?
It's really funny. And like, wouldn't her family, like her house where she's going to, be pretty much near the pizza place?
And it's like they're walking together one street. It's not they're not at an intersection. They are walking down one street. She goes bye bye and just walks away ahead of them, and they're just
They're
like
going in the same direction.
they
And they're
just
like,
keep
what?
walking the same direction, and then we see them, Lindsay and Harmony, working at the pizza place, but they're sad now because Jamie's not there anymore. This scene is crazy.
It's one of those things where it's just such a filler for the plot, just a minor movement scene. But they decided to make it crazy, and I appreciate it. It sticks in my brain way more.
It's so funny. And yeah, I guess she just doesn't work at the pizza place anymore.
No, we don't ever
Her
see her work
father's
there
pizza
anymore.
place. So then that night at the pizza place, Dad tries to give Mom a prune pizza. So this is our next pizza.
Prune versus chicken feet. I think chicken feet's worse.
I've never had prunes. Prune on a
Prune
pizza?
prune is kind of weird.
Is it sweet? Is it tart?
It's like
I
the
feel like it'd be
texture
more
is weird, but I feel like maybe prune pizza is worse. Maybe it
maybe it's
is.
worse because at least like chicken feet is
Is
chicken.
chicken.
I feel like prune is
Okay,
worse.
I'm with you. Okay, prune pizza's worse.
And he's like, it's more of a breakfast pizza.
Sure.
We should be open for breakfast.
Mom's like, we're literally losing money every time we open those doors.
And then they get a call and she says, "Yes, this is the place from Is Saves the World. Sure, we can do a birthday party." And then the dad's like, "Okay, maybe the success isn't just from my pizzas."
Poor dad in his little tomato hat.
This is still booming, by the way, and they're gonna act like in, like, 10 minutes that it's not booming.
Yeah.
Apparently, if they're not booming every single day, they need to sell their
Well, I think
business.
the idea was it's been bad for a while.
And
And
this small boom isn't enough to
yeah.
save it? Yeah, maybe. I don't know. So then, Jamie gets a call, and it's Lindsay. Lindsay called her. Scene is also hilarious.
Yeah.
Jamie is just, like, on another one now. Jamie says, "How was work?" And Lindsay's like, "Oh, I'm exhausted. The pizza was heavy, whatever." And Jamie's like, "You think you're exhausted? You never believe all the stuff I've got going on. It's
Jamie is such
crazy."
a I want to talk about me.
"Oh, you think you're exhausted from the job that I quit recently?"
Oh, you think you're exhausted doing all the stuff that I said I would do?
You wouldn't believe, like, it's like she's trying to convince her, like, I had to quit the pizza job because I'm so busy. And Lindsay's like, "Okay, well, I was calling to see if you can help on Saturday to help with the dance decor." She's just, like, immediately changes the subject because she's like, You're stupid. Will you help with the dance decoration?" And Jamie's like, "Why do we have to do that?" And
She forgot she was on the decorating committee that she was so excited to sign up for.
Lindsay's like, "We're on the decorating because of you? Like, you literally signed us up for this." And Jamie says, "I can't. I have to answer fan mail."
And then we like pans over to a stack of like hundreds to thousands of like envelopes
Oh
on
my
her
gosh.
desk.
Yeah. So Lindsay just drops that subject, like, "Okay, well, will you be at my animal rally?" And Jamie says, I have another call. Don't worry, I'll be at the rally." She takes the call. It's Sawyer asking to go to the mall on Saturday. And Jamie's like, "Yes, yes, I will." And she's very excited, even though she was supposed to go to the animal rally on Saturday.
Well, not the animal rally,
Oh.
the decorating committee. She just said
Oh.
she couldn't go to.
What day is the animal rally?
That's a little bit later on.
Okay, okay, okay. Yeah. Remember how she insisted they do the
She
decorating
has helped out
committee?
zero.
She's the one who put their names down.
Yep. And now Sawyer, her literal evil villain of her book, calls and says, "You want to go shopping on the same day you could be hanging with your friends doing the thing you signed them up for?" And she said, "Yeah, I'm wide open."
So then cut to Connor working at the pizza place, and Marco comes in and he asks for Jamie. And Connor's like, "She's not here. She's only here in spirit." And Marco's like, "Well, will you tell her I'm looking for her?"
Connor just says, "No."
No. And Marco's like, "What?" It's like, "Well, she doesn't work here anymore." And he's like, "Well, aren't you guys friends?"
So true, Marco.
"Hey, well, do you know if she's going to the dance with anyone?" And Connor's like, "I don't know. I'll let her know you're looking for her if I see her." And then Marco leaves and Connor is upsetty
He's like,
spaghetti.
"Oh, I'm so upset. He's spaghetti."
Do we sell spaghetti at the pizza place?
Probably not.
What?
Spaghetti pizza would go hard.
I would go hard. It'd be messy. And honestly, not structurally sound. Maybe if you put it in a calzone,
Maybe.
maybe this will save their family business. So then Jamie is out shopping with her handler and her mom, and they're like, "Oh, we should grab lunch." And then Jamie sees Sawyer at a table and her friends at a different table in this cafe. And she's like, "You know what? I'm not hungry anymore. Let's not go in." But she doesn't want to have to decide between them. And that's the whole scene.
Yeah, sure.
The why plot.
As in, why include this scene?
So then we see Connor's brother working on the truck. And he goes, "Wait till Jamie sees these." And Connor's like, "Probably not, because Marco's gonna ask her to the dance." And brother's
I was
like,
like, wait, you could just ask her
"Yeah,
first.
why don't you just ask her?" "What? I thought you were going with her." "Don't let some chump come in and steal your girl. You've worked so hard for this
I'll
because
feel
of me."
so guilty.
You've worked so hard for this. So ask her. And Connor's like, yeah, yeah,
Talks himself into it.
yeah. So then we get a montage of Connor trying to call Jamie, but she's so busy talking to Sawyer.
Yeah, he keeps hanging up.
Yeah. And the sound editing in this montage is horrible because there is a loud song playing with lyrics. And also you hear Connor talking and Jamie talking during the montage. And the sound is just overlapping horribly that you can't understand anything that's happening. I just wanted to point that out. Paul, get your shit together. There's been way better montages than this in DCOMs.
Just look at another Panna Baker classic and Stuck in the Suburbs.
Yeah, those montages,
Elite.
amazing. So, transition to school, Connor, it's still the montage. Connor's like pacing by her locker. Why, where's Jamie? Why is she not in class? Oh, she's meeting with her handler, so she's not in school. End of montage. So then Jamie finally rolls into school, and Marco sees her the same time Connor does, but Marco's
So now it's a
closer.
race to
Yeah.
go ask her out.
Connor's running to interrupt them. No, Jamie! And he falls on the ground right at Jamie and Marco's feet. But Jamie's like, shut up, Connor.
Yeah. She literally like gets Iz's high heel boot and steps on his chest.
Yeah, she
And
like
that
turns into
weirdly is an
Iz.
image that is stuck to me in this movie.
It's
It's the full
awesome.
evil of just like, I'm holding my friend down to talk to this hot boy.
Yeah, the high-heeled boot on his chest.
Yeah.
It's iconic. Marco's like, "Do you wanna go to the dance with me?" And she says, "Of course I do." Um, and Connor's just defeated on the ground. And then at her locker, the girls ask Jamie if she's ready, and she's like, "What are you talking about?" "Oh, I have important news, by the way." And they're like, "More important than helping the bunnies?" And she says, "Yeah, kind of." Jamie.
Jamie.
Oh my god. They say, "We need you for the protest." And she's like, "Oh, the protest is today." "Well, it's totally not my fault. I tried to get my handler to make it Friday instead."
What the hell?
Once again, Jamie is telling her handler, "Can you call my friends and tell them this thing?" And the handler's just like, "No."
You solve yourself. I have other
So
clients.
funny.
Yeah, Lindsay's like, I've been planning this for literal months. I can't just change the date on a whim.
Yeah, I can't just change the date for you. And Jamie's like, "I'm sorry, but it's for the book, and I have a limo waiting for me."
She just, it's immediate. The monster transition was pretty quick overall.
Yeah.
She's just a monster now.
She is a monster. So then, Jamie is in front of this big vanity mirror, and she plans on calling the girls at the rally. But oh my gosh, where's her cell phone? Oh my god, Iz has it and is talking with Sawyer and saying that she hates pizza.
Oh my god.
And Jamie's like, "Hey, I love pizza, and Lindsay's my friend."
Yeah, that's the order of importance.
Lindsay won't make you a superstar though. "Well, maybe I don't want to be a superstar." And is like, "Well, I suppose you didn't want the cutest boy to ask you to dance either. So stop whining and start acting like Is."
This is so dramatic.
All of a sudden, Jamie does care about pizza and her friends.
Could have fooled me.
Could have fooled me. At the protest, it's literally just Harmony there with a sign while Lindsay speaks in a megaphone, like
Literally
saving
not a
us.
single person's there.
But they could not reschedule this.
Yeah.
This was so important
This
to
is so
happen there.
important. Yeah.
So it's a disaster and the bunnies are gonna suffer.
Yeah, the bunnies are all dead.
And they're like, it's Jamie's handler's fault. I liked it when she didn't have a handler. I love how they blame the handler when it's actually so Jamie's
I
fault.
think they do mean it's Jamie's, but they're saying the handler to
Yeah.
not like completely roast their
Well,
friend.
the handler should have called them to reschedule.
Yeah. Duh, it is the handler's
Even though
fault.
they would have said, "We can't reschedule. We've been planning this for months."
But you know what? The handler is kind of a disaster because something's about to happen in like the next scene
Oh my
that the
gosh.
handler really needed to protect against.
Yeah, so this is what Jamie's doing instead of the rally. She's on a talk show being interviewed, right? And the interviewer says, "Your book is the fastest selling children's book in the publishing company's history." And Jamie says, "We reject children because the book is for everyone." And the interviewer says, "We?"
Which conveniently could just be, the publishing company that
Uh,
you were talking
like
about.
my publishing team, he's like,
But
"We reject the term children."
but
And
it was
it's like,
supposed to be
"Me?"
implied like we're talking is and myself.
She goes, "I mean, me, I."
Yeah, me reject children.
Me reject the term children. Book for everyone. Like, why is that? That should have been questioned. It was so weird. Um, and she says, "Do you ever think the book would do so well?" And Jamie's like, "Well, I tapped into something bigger than myself, which scared me. I'm not sure why people relate to it." Okay. And then the interviewer says, "How did you come up with it in the first place?" And she says, "Well, my teacher said to write about what you know." And she says, "Oh, so you're saying it's based on real life?" And Jamie says, "Well, yeah, I could make that stuff up.
Yeah, I'm not that
I
creative.
could make up the witches and the wizards and the kingdom by myself." Um, and Marco's on TV watching because he's starting to piece together that the Marco in the book is like him.
Oh my god.
And the interviewer says, "Are the characters real?" And she says, "Yeah, Is is like an alter ego of myself."
Wait, is she?
But is she? She isn't. Am I Is?
This is where she's literally having a mental breakdown on live
Yeah,
television, and it's only going to get worse. This is where the handler needs to pull her off, or maybe only do an interview that is like on tape delay with
yeah.
a little bit of creative control.
This is live.
This is live.
Everybody's watching it. She's literally questioning like her identity, and nobody takes her to a therapist.
But like also nothing said too bad now, but let's hope Jamie doesn't mess that up.
Jamie says, "The more I talk to kids, the more I realize everyone has some is in them, and every school has a Sawyer."
Dun dun dun. Sawyer.
Sawyer? I thought the villain name was Myrna. And everybody is floored.
No one could put it piece it together.
Oh my god, she actually said Sawyer, and Sawyer is
Yeah, I
pissed.
would be pissed off Sawyer.
Yeah.
You have to think the only reason she's been hanging out with you lately is because she's like me.
And then Jamie has a full psychotic break. She goes, "Oh no, why didn't I just go save a cute little bunny rabbit? This was supposed to be the best day of my life." And then she like bangs the table.
And the interview's just like, what?
Like,
We're
that's it
we're
for
done.
today.
Like, whoa.
Nobody takes her to a psychiatrist.
Yeah, she needs help. This
She
is
needs
bad.
help. She needs help, and her parents don't care.
They're like pizza.
But what about the pizza place? At school, oh my gosh. Jamie walks into school wearing a wig and glasses, and since she's not Jamie anymore, she runs into a kid in the
Just immediately
hallway,
runs into a kid again.
and somehow the slight bump into someone makes her wig and glasses immediately fall off. It makes no sense.
And suddenly everyone's paparazzi.
The way they're on her, it's literally half a second of her wig coming off, and there's cameras flashing at her. It's insane the turnaround on this.
Mhm.
Um, Sawyer says, "Stop right there." And then all of a sudden it changes to text on screen. Like the screen is black and there's text. Is prepared to face her doom. It was jarring that
Yeah.
it just turned to text on screen. Sawyer says, "You base that evil witch on me?" And Jamie says, "No, it's fiction. I'm sorry." And um, Sawyer says, "You can't just zap me, but I'll zap you to Loserville, where you belong."
Ada?
And then there's a guy who we literally have never seen before.
He has not been in a single scene, not said a single line,
He doesn't
not
have a
even in the
name.
background.
No, we do not know who this boy is. He's like, "Leave her alone, Sawyer."
Yeah, way to defend.
And Sawyer's like, "You're in the book too, the weird, like, pea-sized brain jock." And the guy's like, "That's me?" And Jamie says, "No, that's Josh."
Your friend.
Josh is right next to him, and he goes, "What?" And the guy goes, "Oh, so not cool."
It's so silly. Why did they make a character who literally has no other lines deliver that?
This bit is funny,
It's
though.
so funny.
And we never see him again or Josh again.
It's so funny. It's just random. It's like, hello, background character B. You want to talk for a second?
Hey, leave her alone.
Thank you.
So funny. Um, oh my gosh, she wrote about all of us. And then Iz tells Jamie to run, and everybody yells at her.
Yeah, they just run away.
So then Jamie gets home, and mom's on the phone with the handler, and she's like, "Hey, Jamie, your handler wants you to have a book signing at the pizza parlor." And Jamie's like, "No." And the mom's like, "Jamie, what's wrong?" And she says, "Everything, mother." So,
Pretty much.
so then Jamie's in her room narrating and typing. It was the beginning of the end. And then she yells at Lenny to be quiet because he's playing the guitar. And then Jamie argues with Iz some more. Iz says, "We're going to the dance with Marco." And Jamie's like, "No, I'm not going. You're staying here."
You're like the worst part of me.
Yeah. And Iz is like, "You think you can do this without me?" And Jamie says, "I was a great writer before you." And Iz is like, "But I got you on TV. We're a team. We don't need Sawyer. People love us. Where was this energy before?"
Also, people don't love you right now.
No, people hate you right now.
I guess the people who don't know you, you're still getting fan mail.
Yeah, they don't really talk about her, like, more widespread success. Her small town hates her, but,
Yeah,
like, everyone else.
everyone else is pretty cool.
Maybe the book is only popular in the small town.
But it was a top seller.
Yeah, it was a top seller. Um, Jamie says, "I'd rather have friends than fans. I'm never writing about you again." And Iz says, "I wouldn't do that if I were you. Think about your parents. Business is booming right now, and it's not because of the liver pizza."
Apparently the liver pizza was a mainstay.
So then Jamie writes more chaotic excerpts for her book where the spacing and sizing is all over the place. She types, "It was the beginning of the end. For better or for worse, it was happening. Iz was taking over. She was saying everything I was thinking. Unfiltered, uncensored, unplugged."
That's like the tagline to a concert
Yeah.
or maybe like a comedy show.
And then she also draws herself being controlled like a puppet. She's like, "See, it wasn't my choices. It was Iz's
Who is
choices.
me?
This girl needs
Am I is?
this girl needs to be admitted into a hospital."
She needs help.
And nobody ever acknowledges
Nobody ever
this.
does. No one sticks up for her.
No.
Except the one kid who's like, leave her alone, Sawyer. But then he got like personally attacked, so I get that.
Yeah. So Lenny is still playing the guitar, and in unison, Jamie and Iz say, "Will you knock it off? We're trying to save the family in here." And then Jamie bangs on Lenny's door and demands him to be quiet. She says, "You call that noise music? Do us both a favor and give it up." This hurts Lenny so much that he does give up music.
Which is pretty brutal.
So then Jamie reads the school paper. So these are like letters to the editor.
Letters to the editor of the school paper, and it's just pages of everyone hating on Jamie. How are these allowed to be published when it's literally bullying?
And this is a brand new plot element that is introduced that comes back multiple times. This is the Q plot.
We've already used Q. We'll say G.
We already used G.
There's too many plots.
M,
M plot.
M plot. M plot. Um, Everyone is looking at her disappointedly. So like the remaining classroom scenes is like everybody's sitting at their desk with a newspaper.
Reading it, and everyone's like, "Oh, you're so
Oh,
terrible. Look at all these opinions about how you suck."
yeah, ton of write-ins
This is
hating
this is
her.
unhinged.
She says they're all anti-Iz. And then Iz pops in and they're like, "No, they hate you, Jamie.
Yeah, don't we are one.
We are one person." And then Marco sits next to her,
This
taking
is the
Connor's spot.
substance.
This is the substance. Marco takes Connor's spot, and Connor's annoyed, but Jamie's okay with it, and she smiles. And Connor goes and sits next to Sawyer, I guess. And then Marco's like, "You know how to shake things up. Is Myrna really based on Sawyer? That's so cool." And everyone else are students here.
Marco's like the one person who's like, "That's fine."
I was the hot guy.
There's other people who were portrayed positively, I'm sure.
Yeah, her friends were like the coolest
Yeah.
kids in the kingdom.
I mean, there's got to be people who were like neutral on it.
Yeah,
So why does everyone hate her?
yeah.
And
He's
why
like,
are they publishing all of their thoughts in the school newspaper?
Marco loves the idea that Jamie is and he's Marco.
Yes. Later on, he will just only call her is.
This is a weird plot too. This is the Z plot. I made it down to Z. I know we missed letters in between.
We haven't even talked about an A plot.
The A plot is the book. We've been talking about it, I guess. Um, so yeah, he loves this role play of like she's is and he's Marco.
Mhm.
And then Harmony and Lindsay go up to Connor in the hallway and he's all upset and like none of them like Jamie anymore. And he says, "Do you know how many iguanas I bathed to get that car for the dance?" And then Jamie comes up and she's like, "I need you guys." And they're like, "Are you serious?" And she says, "Yeah, I need positive PR since Sawyer hates me now."
She's so monster.
And they said, "Too bad we also hate you." And they leave. And she says, "But you
Oh
guys."
my god, how could you abandon me? All I got is my hot, sexy boyfriend.
So then in the cafeteria, Marco and Jamie are not allowed to sit with Sawyer. Oh, she's such a Myrna.
So they have to go and sit on this dirty table, even though there's a clean table with one kid sitting at it right next to it.
It's so funny. Like, first off, there's a table that has like garbage on it. The kids didn't clean that up. And you can clearly see a clean table behind them.
Yeah, it's really funny. They're like,
It's
"Oh,
so
we have to sit
funny.
here. I'm so unpopular." And
Yeah.
Marco could totally like if she wasn't actually popular, like Marco's here for the long haul.
Marco's here because he loves the role play.
Yeah,
Jamie's like, "By the way, I never got to tell you, but I loved that poem that you read at the beginning of the movie." And Marco's like, "Oh, that was so embarrassing."
so lame.
No.
Ew. Hey, are you gonna eat those fries?
And Jamie's like, "No." And so he eats her fries.
So romantic.
Yeah. But Jamie loved the poem. It was so real. So then at the pizza shop, nobody's showing up for the book signing.
Damn.
Business has been off.
Everyone hates them and
Yeah.
they can't sell pizza anymore.
Um, Maybe a new pizza will help. Pickled pork ear?
Is that worse than prune? Because I kind of think pickled
No,
pork
pickle
ear.
pizza's a thing and pork pizza's a thing.
Okay.
So I feel like it would work better than prunes.
Okay. These are not. None of them are good. They do a good job making them seem bad.
Yeah. Where is everyone? We only sold 2
And
books.
it was to the
Yeah, it was
grandparents.
Jamie's grandparents.
But oh my god, there's some people outside.
Yeah, the handler thinks she sees customers, but really it was just some kids vandalizing the sign they have, and she says, "Hooligans. We have hooligans."
There's so many scenes like this.
So then Lindsay and Harmony are working on the whale sculpture some more, and Lindsay's like, "We should stuff it with something, maybe like foam or packing peanuts." And Lindsay says, "No. Let's do save the whale posters and some gross seaweed to make a statement."
Oh my god, it's gonna be so crazy. What environmental activism we are. How do they get this much seaweed?
Where did they get the
They got
seaweed
like a
from?
full, like
It's-
giant trash can
And
full
it's
of
like
seaweed.
slimy seaweed.
Yeah. It's fresh. Maybe they live in a coastal city and they know someone who's like collecting seaweed, but that would still be valuable.
Yeah. Harmony's in. Let's make a statement. So then Jamie argues with Iz some more while they're walking home. She says Iz is a monster, and so am I. And because she sees Lenny's broken guitar in the
He
trash.
literally broke his guitar. He
Because
ripped the like head off.
he gave up his music because Jamie says, "Do us both a favor and quit."
He really values his sister.
His ego is so fragile.
Yeah, poor Lenny.
This poor little boy. Jamie says he quit because of what I said to him, and then she tries to knock on his door, but he ignores her. And she says, "I didn't mean what I said. Don't give up music."
Too late for that.
Too late. So then transition to a sad scene of Jamie in her room.
She finally feels guilt, but
She goes
does she know how to deal with it?
she goes to her computer. All
This
her
this is fantastic.
This scene's so funny. So she goes on like an instant messaging service, which we've never seen before in this movie. And she has a list of friends, and one by one, they like instantly disappear.
They were all waiting for her to get online so they can make a show of them actively defriending her.
They said, "All right, she's online and unfriend, unfriend, unfriend." Like they all disappear.
So funny. They coordinated that.
It's so funny. Except Connor remains.
Connor's the only one that stayed.
So she types a message. She says, "Connor, don't you hate me too?" And he sends a message back. He says, "No, I hate what you've become." And Jamie says, "Me too."
So funny.
And then we see Connor writing something up about Jamie. So this is a letter to the editor about how Jamie's actually kind of cool.
She's like totally fine. It's actually not that positive towards her.
It's more
It's definitely
positive
more
than
positive than everything else she's receiving. But it's funny when you read it through and it's just like, hey guys, let's not hate on her so much.
Yeah, so at school, everybody has the newspaper again. This is like a daily occurrence at the school.
They have 5 pages of letters to the editor now.
Um, and Iz is like, "Whoa, one of the letters isn't so bad." So Jamie reads it, and it says like, "Jamie's not that bad. She made us see through the masks. We're all geeks and jocks or whatever.
From a friend.
Yeah, she's a friend. We should have seen her for who she truly is, a friend." It's whatever. Um, so then Jamie sees Connor and she's like, "Look, Connor, the editor's note, that isn't mean. Marco wrote it." And he's like, "What?" And she's like, "Yeah, I'd recognize that writing style
Connor would
anywhere."
be pissed.
It's so funny that she's like, "The writing style is exactly the same as the poem."
Which is really funny because you're supposed to infer like, oh my god, Connor wrote the poem. Whereas in actuality, this is like 3 sentences written to the editor and a poem that was like 2 stanzas long. It's not long enough to get a writing style in either case.
No, it's so funny.
It's
And
so
I like
funny.
that, like, that's a clever way for this plot to happen of like, oh, Connor wrote the poem the whole time and she assumed that it was
Yeah.
Marco because he read the poem.
It's
That's
not bad.
clever,
There's
but
good ideas in this movie.
if you think about it, like that's stupid that she would come to that conclusion
Yeah.
of like the poem and the note are written in the same style. Like it sounds like he's writing an iambic pentameter or whatever,
Like Shakespeare.
like Shakespeare.
Da
He's
da
just
da da da.
Jamie is actually kind of cool.
Banger.
So she's like, "Oh, I have to go find Marco." Oh, and Connor, I want to thank you for being there the other night. You're a great friend.
Most hard friend zone you've ever seen.
Now I'm gonna go find Marco. Connor, thanks for not deleting me as a friend on IM message, like instant message. Cool, bye.
And then she goes and finds Marco and it's like, that's the sweetest thing anyone has ever done for me.
Marco says, "I'll play along. You're welcome."
He's just like, I'll take credit, sure.
That's so funny. She says, "Don't be modest. It was you who wrote the positive letter. Nice to know someone out there knows the real me. And I can't wait for the dance. I recognize your writing anywhere." And he says, "Thank you, Iz."
It starts his arc of literally only ever calling her is for the rest of the movie, which
Yeah.
isn't that long, but it's weird that happens like 6 times.
She's like, "My name's Jamie." And he's like, "Right, yeah." So then we get a very short scene of mom and dad talking about how the pizza place is losing money.
Oh yes, no, sorry, the T plot.
What about my pate pizza?
Pate pizza or prune pizza?
What is pate?
What is pate?
Isn't it like mushy? Kind of meat? Or am I just thinking of like cat food?
It's a French dish, a rich, savory spread, typically made from ground meat or fish,
Oh, I was
mixed
right.
with fat, herbs, and spices, and often served as an appetizer or snack. You could probably make a pizza that works with that.
Yeah, I feel like that's not as
That's
bad as
easier to make than
prunes.
prune.
Yeah, so a lot of cat food, it says like pate.
Mhm.
Mom says, "No, the pate pizza isn't gonna work. We actually just need to sell the place."
We're just done.
Maybe the mom has been wanting to get rid of this pizza place for so long.
She's been sabotaging the pizza place, but it wasn't working.
Um, Jamie listens into this conversation and is sad. And then we get this like montage of Jamie getting ready for the dance and like she looks She pulls out a box and she looks at pictures of her friend
There's
sadly.
definitely also a song playing during this that was
Yeah.
playing on Disney Channel. I don't remember writing it down, but
Um, she she gets ready and it's so weird. Like it's so drawn out. She's very sadly getting ready for the dance, and we see her putting on her jewelry, painting her nails, doing her hair, putting on her shoes. Like
this is
why
weird for how fast paced the rest of the movie is. This is weirdly long.
it's so long. And the song I wrote down some of the lyrics because it was so funny. It was like, "You think everybody loves you, but everybody hates the same." I couldn't hear the words.
So funny. It is really
It was on the
awkward.
nose.
The movie's awkward.
Yeah, that part was funny. And it's just like, "Why are you moping? You have a boyfriend and a sequel." I don't remember the sequel being mentioned any other time.
And then she mentions it at, like the very end of the movie.
Yeah,
Like, yeah, apparently she's got a sequel locked up, which
may
makes enough sense, but
maybe it was mentioned, but is very much like, "You have to tell them about your sequel."
mhm.
Maybe it was like, "Oh, the publishing company wants you to write another one." I don't know. Um, so yeah, you have a boyfriend and a sequel coming. And she says, "What about my friends and parents and my brother's music? All these plots that have happened." Um, it says, "But you have money. This is all about me." Is. And Jamie's like, "That's what you think." And then she grabs her computer and then her parents come in and she's like, "All right, I'm ready to go." And she puts her computer on her bed and leaves. And apparently what this is supposed to symbolize is she traps is in her computer.
Which is weird because it's clearly not something linked to her computer. It's been a mental thing whole time.
Yeah, and we don't really see her do anything with the computer, right?
Yep. Nope. I wonder if this was a cut plot.
This part was just very unclear of what she was gonna do. Because then later is at the dance and she's like, "What the heck? You were supposed to be in my computer."
They changed the concept of this plot too many times.
Yeah.
But whatever. They're at the dance and like they're all there. Connor is with Lindsay and Harmony, and then Jamie shows up and they're all like, "We're leaving."
Yeah.
They're not gonna hang out at all.
So then Marco asks if Jamie's okay, and she's like, "Yeah, I just thought this would be different. Let's just get it over with." And Marco's like, "Ouch, not the most positive way to start a date is."
Would you stop calling me it? Like, my God. Her name's not Is. You're just so into the role play.
Yeah. And then the teacher compliments Jamie and Marco as they walk in, and Marco says, "Zap at you." He loves the book.
He really is just a book fan.
Yeah.
You ever write a book about how hot a guy is, but then you start dating him and you realize he's just hot?
So they walk into the dance, and it looks amazing. The under the sea theme is pretty fun. The
They did
whales,
a lot of good decorations, man. Good job, Harmony and Lindsay, and the one who helped the most of all, Jamie.
for sure. Yeah. Everyone's dancing. Is walking around. Is here. Lindsay and Harmony plot, and they say it's gonna be a whale of a
Yeah, they're
time.
ready for their big evil plan.
Yeah. Then Lenny shows up to the dance, and the band playing is gonna take a break. And then Marco calls Jamie Is again, and he's like, "I'm sorry, I just think you're cool, Jamie. How did someone as cool as you say yes to me?" And Jamie's like, "No, you're so smart and an amazing writer and poet."
And for some reason, instead of just owning the lie like he's kind of been doing beforehand, he's like, I didn't write that stupid fucking poem.
"I didn't write that poem. I paid that dork to write it for me." Connor? And Iz shows up and she's like, "Who cares? He's hot." And Jamie is like talking to Iz in front of
And
Marco.
Marco's just like looking around like, who the fuck are you
Who are you
talking to?
talking to? And she says, "It's the principal." And Marco says, "What does the principal have to do with this?" That part was funny too. And Jamie's like, "He's not the one I should be dancing with." And Marco's like, "Who are you talking to?"
This is so weird.
So then Jamie hauls Iz off. So Jamie grabs Iz's arm and like drags her through the dance, but you also see that she's dragging literally nobody. They're really exploring the or Jamie is talking to nobody right now, but nobody really looks at her weird. Maybe a couple
There's
glances.
some glances and stuff, but it's also like it's a party and stuff. Stuff is going on. There's other things to focus on.
This is like the AA plot that they just don't really explore about how Jamie is crazy.
Yeah.
She sees imaginary people.
She sees dead people.
So Jamie's like, Iz, you're supposed to be in my computer. And Iz is like, you can't get rid of me that easily. We're a team. Yeah, I guess it's not that easy. You can't just grab your computer and think all your problems are gone, Jamie. Um, Iz says, I made you who you are. You were invisible before. And Jamie says, I hate who I became. Well, they hate who I became. And he says, if Connor wrote the poem, then he wrote the letter in the paper.
Oh my god. Connor's the one who's been so sexy with his provocative voice.
Yeah, Jamie's just like, "Oh, I only liked Marco because of the poem and the
It's not
letter."
really true because the
No.
first time we hear the poem was after she'd already written about how hot he is.
I know, she already wrote about how he was is and then when she was talking about it later, she's like, "And he writes poetry?" It was an "and," but now it's the only thing she likes about him.
So big lies in this, but you know what? That's big commonality for
Yeah.
Jamie.
In the middle of this argument, the teacher's making an announcement about, like, how cool the whale is and the decor, and she gives all the credit to Jamie
Yeah, she's
because
like, there's only one person who is to like cheer for this. The one person who did all this work, Jamie, come on stage.
and it's because Jamie's the one who wrote their names down for it.
Yeah.
And the teacher loves Jamie because of the provocative book.
Also, it's really just something where they wanted to give like a homecoming speech to have that be the big moment, but they didn't want to like add in another plot of just being a homecoming like vote or something,
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's not a homecoming thing. It's a come give a speech because of the
which
decorations.
is wild, but okay. So
Yeah.
everyone she goes up on stage, she gets like a bunch of roses and she starts giving a speech.
Everybody boos her.
Reasonable.
Anything you want to say, Jamie? Boo.
It appears on stage. It's like, hey, talk about the sequel.
Yeah, be me. I'm cool. And so Jamie's like, it's nice to be appreciated after the week I've had. And people boo more. And she's like, "What the heck, Is?" And Is says, "Keep going." Did I mention I have a sequel coming?
Boo, not another one.
So the crowd literally says, "Not another one."
It's great.
It's so funny. Any other bright ideas? Is so then they see that Lindsay and Harmony rigged the whale so that so is like, Jamie, you should rat them out, save the day, and then be a hero. And Jamie yells out, Harmony, Lindsay, stop! I have to say something. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to everyone for insulting and hurting you. It wasn't my intention. That was my personal, private journal no one was supposed to read. But that doesn't give me the right to say what I did. No one is black and white like in my book. We're all unique, including my brother, who is talented, even though he doesn't want people to know
It's
it.
like, what? My God.
Me? Come here, Harmony and Lindsay. They deserve the real credit for the dance. These roses are for you. And everybody claps.
This is a lot of just exposition in the end.
It's so funny. I love how she's like, including my brother.
I'll throw that in. They're
Y'all,
like, we have a song we want to get played and we don't know how to fit this in.
she's just like, my brother is a musician. Like, literally nobody knows this about him. She's like, everybody, my brother's a musician. Everybody's like, what?
And now I got to do something. Well, everyone loves her now
Yeah,
because
everybody loves her now because she said everybody's unique and her brother's a musician.
this school is so fickle.
And she gave credit to Harmony and Lindsay for the decor, which is cool. Um, and she's like, yeah, I have another present. And it says, Jamie, what are you doing? And Jamie says, something I should have done a long time ago. I have the power.
Save the whale. She pulls the rope. The
Yes.
whale comes falling down and spills seaweed on everyone. But notably, not like just a bunch of seaweed on the ground. The flyers come out of the mouth, but the seaweed only when it swings towards someone actually gets seaweed on someone. It's such a deliberate cut of somehow this paper mache whale is throwing up seaweed perfectly onto people.
Yeah, like, and not just one piece of seaweed, like, huge clumps of seaweed is landing
This is
on
working
people.
perfectly and not realistically at
It
all.
shows, like, I don't think it was supposed to unhook and swing like that. I think it, like, broke, and it is so dangerous.
That could kill someone.
That could easily kill someone. This whale is, like, huge. Multiple people could fit inside this whale, and it is swinging back and forth in this auditorium. So then Jamie runs up to Harmony and Lindsay and says, "Friends? Friends.
And they're friends.
They're friends now." And she says, "Now where's Connor?" "Oh, he ran off when you were on stage." So outside,
And
Jamie,
you hear none of the whole spiel.
yeah, Jamie catches up with Connor before he gets in the truck, and she says, "I've been looking for you." And he says, "Well, you found me." She says, "Hi."
It's pretty funny.
It was funny. She says, "Look, I'm sorry I've been such a jerk lately. The truth is, I never liked Marco."
Such a lie. Such a blatant lie.
That's such a lie.
You're founding your relationship on a lie.
Just liked his poetry, and now I find out that it wasn't even him. And she grabs his hand. "It was you." Connor says, "I wimped out. I should have just asked you to the dance." And then they kiss.
They kiss?
They kiss each other.
Sure.
Whoa!
Wow.
In my team?
Connor's brother's like, way to go, Squirt. This is my character.
Way to go, Squirt. So Jamie brings Connor back into the dance. So they go in. The teacher wants a word with Jamie about her display, but then everybody starts clapping for Jamie.
My God, she's so popular again.
Because they love the Save the Whales thing. Wait, Save the Whales? Are whales getting makeup tested on them? Or is this just a
I think
separate
this is a
thing?
separate
It's
thing.
a separate thing.
This was like
Another
this was
one.
like when whaling was happening.
Oh, it's horrible. It's just funny that it's like, I, I guess you can infer that she's an animal activist for all animals,
Yeah.
but it's a separate thing from what she was protesting before. Like, if you want to talk about specific protests,
Mhm.
save the whales. But whatever. Everyone claps for Jamie, so the teacher's like, guess we'll talk about it later. Um, Marco also claps for her at first, but Sawyer's like, "Stop it."
Apparently they're back together.
Yeah, they're just back
Sure.
together.
Whatever.
They're back together, like, in the background. So then Lenny gets on stage and he's like, "Don't worry, sis. You're not the only one who's been a dork lately. This one's for you."
And then he plays his song.
What the heck does that even mean, Lenny? Lenny is he so not a character?
And he plays a song and it kind of slaps.
I actually like this
It actually
song.
kind of goes hard.
It's
And I
fun.
found out online, like, Jennifer 2, one of the Jennifers, one of the evil
Oh,
girls,
yeah.
is like singing along to it, but I found it in the IMDb goofs. I wasn't lying. This is supposed to be like an original song he wrote.
Well, so easy to infer the
Yeah.
words though, because it was like the
But how did the
chorus.
other band members that he doesn't play with know
That's
what
such
to
a good
play?
point. That's such a good point. Also, during the bridge, the crowd does their like wave arm things and
It's so
use.
funny.
It's so goofy and
The
funny.
movie is so silly, but it wants to be serious. It wants the best of both worlds.
Yeah,
And again, I appreciate this movie for being at least memorable and ambitious, even if it doesn't land everything. Like, this is way better than just a mediocre DCOM, you know?
yeah, yeah. At least there's stuff going on
Yeah.
instead of
There's never a
boring.
point in this where it's boring.
Yeah. So now at the pizza shack, Dad is bummed and Mom, and they turn off the lights like they're leaving.
Yeah. They're like,
Like,
well,
did they sell the place? No.
no, they're like, well, this is the last time we'll ever have pizza here.
Yeah.
And all of the kids show up.
Yeah, Jamie and Connor show up, and Jamie's like, "I brought some friends for pizza." So everyone shows in, and they say, "Well, you look at that. We gotta get cooking."
Yeah. So Lenny goes in as well. He's like, oh, I should probably help out. I know how to do this.
Yeah,
And he throws his jacket over
which
onto
just
a hook.
has a ton of seaweed on it still,
Yeah,
apparently.
it has a ton of raw seaweed on
Ugh.
it. It gets put onto the pizza. Then the mom doesn't look at the pizza and think it's weird. She walks out, and very clearly, the the seaweed has changed
Yeah.
into like smaller cooked pieces of
Yeah, it's
something.
hilarious, like, the difference in the pizza we see as it's being carried into the restaurant. It's so funny. It
But guess
doesn't look
what?
the same at
Everyone
all.
loves seaweed pizza.
Yeah, everybody eats it up, and mom comes back and she's like, "Can we get more of the spinach pizza?"
Super unsanitary, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Extremely
Oh my
unsanitary for
gosh, yeah.
multiple reasons. This would shut down your business.
But the kids don't realize that.
No.
Um, and the dad's like, "No, what? Spinach? I haven't been serving spinach pizza." And he tastes it and he's like, "Is this seaweed?" And then he's like, "Oh, that's my bad." And dad says, "No, it's good. Listen to those kids chant for pizza.
Pizza, pizza, pizza.
Lenny, go get the seaweed from the sushi in the back."
One of the wildest small lines. There's been sushi at this restaurant the whole time. Is that why it's going out of business?
Sushi back?
What the hell?
Did they serve sushi?
They must. This is why it's going out of business. They're terrible business owners. What pizza place also sells sushi?
Did he try a sushi pizza?
He probably tried a sushi pizza,
We
but he
didn't
was
get to
so
hear about it.
close.
We didn't get to hear
So
about that.
seaweed pizza is the worst of them all.
We did in the beginning hear like fish pizza, so
Yeah,
maybe that was alluding to sushi. Oh, it's crazy.
perchance.
Um, he says, "We did it, babe." Or maybe the mom says that, "We did it, babe. You did it. Woo, pizza, pizza,
Yeah,
pizza."
so that's more or less the end of the movie. We get some
Yeah.
like Jamie voiceover.
Yeah, she says, "With some seaweed pizza, the kingdom was back in order. The princess kissed her frog."
Insane comment, but we get an even more insane one in like 2 seconds.
Yeah, she says they danced till dawn. Okay, 9:30.
What school dance ends at 9:30? Maybe it got canceled early, but even still, then what restaurant on a pizza place on a weekend slash Friday night that's like in the middle of a city closes at 9:30?
I think they danced till 9:30
So it
and
was
then went to the
closing way
pizza.
earlier.
No. Oh, yes, they were closing because they didn't have business, babe.
This is crazy.
Also, calling Connor a frog
Insane.
is so rude.
So bad.
What? Um, she says, "Everyone lived happily ever after." Well, almost everyone. In case you were wondering what happened to Iz, the imaginary character, she's doing dishes.
What?
Which is not true because she's imaginary.
Yeah.
I think Jamie still needs help. Nobody cares. And then Jamie prints out the last page of her paper, "How my private personal journal became a bestseller." Is anybody going to read this book?
Yes, because they like her as an author, but then this will ruin her career.
Like, they were like, "Yeah, what's the story? We lived it." I guess everyone that didn't
Yeah.
live it,
Yeah.
I guess. Well, anyway, that's the movie.
Maybe she can sell the movie rights. They can make a DCOM out of that.
No, it would make a good DCOM, wouldn't it? No. So, so that's Read It and Weep.
That's Read and Weep. It is really underratedly wild. I mean, we were
It's
talking about it the whole
crazy.
time, but when we're off of this podcast, we're probably not going to remember how crazy this really
There's
is.
so many plots.
It's because the actual general plot is pretty DCOM generic,
Yeah.
but the way they go about everything here is really one of a kind.
It's so chaotic in a fun way. I was telling Benji this, like, yeah, I'm like kind of complaining about it. It's because I'm trying to take notes on this and so many things are happening. If you're
Like,
just watching it, it's better.
I also don't know where to rank this. It's going to be higher than where I think we had it ranked before. I have it down. We had final rank 81. I had it 74. You had it 96.
I had it pretty low.
And it's hard for me to justify like a 96 or a 74 now just because how much enjoyment I was getting from it. But at the same time, I don't know what is really good about this other than it has some good, genuine humor and some good what the fuck
Yeah,
moments.
I definitely was way too harsh on it. It's like at the top of my F tier.
And it's way better than an F tier
It is.
movie.
It is. I should put it like high B
No,
tier.
you should go up to C at a minimum, I think.
No.
What's really wrong with this movie that puts it in D
It's
tier?
all over the
What's up? What
place.
else is in your D tier?
Cheetah Girls One World.
Way worse.
I have horse sense in my D tier.
Yeah, well, I think that
I think
changed.
that changed. A lot of this is changing though. Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing is like a lot of this has changed since we started watching these again. So my whole ranking's just out of whack. Yeah. But yeah, that's Read It and Weep. It is a wild ride. So I don't think we have much more to say
I don't
about
think we
it.
have much more to say. You want to pick a DCOM for us to watch?
Yes. Well, first, thank you guys so much for listening.
Yes, thank you.
If you have any thoughts on Read It and Weep, you can email us at the decomduo@gmail.com or comment somewhere, whatever. We'll probably see it. Um, yeah, now we got to spin the wheel and see what our next movie is gonna be. What do you
So,
think it's gonna be?
I think it's gonna be Jumping Ship.
Well, fun. I think it's gonna be zombies.
Oh,
We're
fun.
gonna stick with Paul Hoen.
We're gonna do all of his movies, the Paul Hoen Marathon.
Yeah. All right, let's spin the wheel. Right on track.
Okay, sure.
Sure, just one of the ones that people have never heard of before.
Just yeah, just one of the ones that the most notable thing about it is Brie Larson.
Yeah, Brie Larson is in this one. Kind
Just
of crazy.
look, I love a sports movie, but this is like as generic gets.
Honestly, I barely paid attention the first time, so maybe I'll be more interested this
I'm
time, but I
pretty
kind of doubt
I'm
it.
pretty sure that we're jumping to the other DCOM director,
Oh,
like
the one that's
Dwayne Dunham or
yeah,
whatever.
yeah, Dwayne Dunham's done a
I
lot.
think he did this one.
Nice. Of
We the
course.
two classics.
Yeah. Okay, so tune in 2 weeks to hear us talk about Right on Track.
Thank you for watching. Leave fan mail at the decomduo at
We already
gmail.com.
talked about that.
And subscribe, like, comment,
Um, uh, bless you all.
follow our TikTok. Be
Goodbye.
the good.
Be the good. Uh, love one another.
Scenes from our next episode.
Wait. I'm not ready yet. Okay, goodbye.
Scenes from our next episode.
I like racing.
I like drag racing, but not like RuPaul.
I-
That's Zombies 3.
I'm your sister, and I also like it.
Oh my god, is this based on a real story
Well,
about drag racing sister girls?
is my little sister better than you?
Oh, I am so competitive in sports, and the most like, don't test me, random volleyball girl. I know what like stressful sports are that are hard on your body because I drag race.
Yeah, I drag
And
race.
you like your heart gets tense and your muscles ache in drag racing.
Knees weak, arms are heavy. Wait, is that what he says?
Yeah.
Mom spaghetti.
Oh, how many lines of Lose Yourself by Eminem can you do?
If you got one shot,
I mean, you
one
did you got was wrong,
opportunity.
but we'll
Oh,
let it pass.
oh, one opportunity. What would you do?
Keep going, keep going. We're not cutting yet.
I don't know. I might want to cut.
Give me as much of the rap as you can do.
His palms are sweaty, knees weak, arms are heavy. His vomits on his sweater already. Mom's spaghetti. He's nervous and he keeps running.
All right, you're done.